Buon noite. I'm Rico Full of the European Cricket Network. Day 5 here in Portugal, Coimbra, this beautiful ground in Miranda de Corvo. We have another new team that's coming into the action today. Well, it's been a little bit thundery. We've had a lot of rain, but so it's going to be a little bit wet. It's going to be slippery, but from the country that Portu, the piri piri, it's also going to be hot and spicy. Welcome to FanCode Portugal T10. Benvinda, so day 5, and we welcome a team which has got a massive history here in Portugal. Porto are coming to join the party tonight. What will they bring? Will they be victorious in their first game, or will the Indian Royals, well, they had a disappointing start yesterday. Will they come back strong? Will it be their time to shine? Well, let's find out. Let's go to Carlo, the tournament referee and the captains.
We're here for game 9 between home team Indian Royals versus a Porto Cricket Club, or Lawn Tennis Cricket Club. Indian Royals have the call for the toss.
Head.
And that is tails. So
We shall have a ball.
Porto's going to bowl, which means Indian Royals will be batting.
So there you have it, Bremol of Porto winning the toss. So remember, this historic club, and listen, their history goes back further than even the Ashes. So we're talking about further than England and Australia. They're one of the oldest clubs here in Europe. Electing to have a field first, I think a lot of clubs playing the first match have elected to do that. Now they'll be relying on some key players that they have. Anthony Chambers, he's big hitting when it comes to the batting. Junad Khan, he's a great all-rounder. Now he impressed the last time they played in the European Cricket Series. He scored 126 runs, but also picked up 3 wickets as well. John Zinkas, he's also going to be a key player for them. Another all-rounder. He scored 105 runs in that European Cricket Series and also picks up wickets, and he swings the ball around a bit as well. So he's going to be one to see. Well, the Indian Royals, what can you say about them? They had a disappointing start yesterday, and I think that was down to really the batting. They just didn't get going. They had some good contributors there. Jaspinder Singh, he looked very good. He scored 30 runs yesterday. Mohamed Saad, he was excellent. He came out hitting the ball so well, but then they collapsed. And well, with the bowling, Sukhwinder Singh, the captain himself, led from the front. Well, what can we tell you about the weather? We've had loads of rain today. It's been thunderous, but well, we're hoping that by the night the rain is going to stay away and we're going to have some good cricket matches. It's going to be a little bit wet. It will be slippery. So what you will find is that a lot of the quicker bowlers will be cutting back on their pace, cutting back on their run up, and just trying to concentrate and keeping the ball up and line and length. That's what we found this good about this wicket. And a good line, short of a length, it pops. The odd one does stay low, but not too many. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. Hopefully we're going to see some sexy cricket here in the night time. So over to Andrew Ryan for the start of the first match.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Rico. That is certainly good news for the Porto team, who's the first time we're getting a look at them at this Portugal T10 tournament. And they are no doubt very, very keen to get out in the field and test their wares, get familiar with the ground by fielding first. I think that's strategically a very, very sensible decision, but probably the team really under some pressure here. Their second day at the tournament, the Indian Royals, they started out with 2 consecutive losses last night. We'll just have a look at the fantasy dashboard brought to you by Mr. Maximo, helping out all of those players for the Dream 11 fantasy competition. Jaspinder Singh, the key man for the Indian Royals. He's, of course, a 10-point player. He's scored heavily yesterday, as did Sukhwinder Singh, who's a little bit more valuable at a value at 8. And he took plenty of wickets. I think it was 5 across the course of the 2 days yesterday. they will need even more from those two, and probably a continuation of the big hitting of Saad, who struck some powerful boundaries, and the middle order will just need to be able to chip in with some 10s and 15s, because their batting looked incredibly fragile at times yesterday, and they need to be able to start putting on scores of 85 to 90 if they're going to be able to defend them successfully and pick up some wins in this Portugal T10 competition. Play's not too far away from starting. Unfortunately, it seems that we've had another shower return, as per Rico's introduction would have seen a lot of moisture around on the ground. Certainly not optimal conditions for cricket, but players in this part of the world, they're a hardy lot. They are definitely keen to get out in the field and to show the world what they can do through the European Cricket Network, available on the EC10 channel on YouTube and via FanCode throughout India and the subcontinent. And aren't the Porto players looking absolutely resplendent in their traditional yellow jerseys? Looking almost like a football club more so than a cricket club, but absolutely brilliant sartorial choice, and they may be the leaders in the best dressed team competition for this Portugal T10. Although the Indian Royals probably not too far behind them. The delightful bright orange counteracted by a bit of green and white. It's a spectacular option as it is. But these two teams obviously leading lights in the fashion department. Let's hope they can bring up the standards with the cricket side of things as well. Not too far from kick-off here. It looks like it might be Junaid Khan actually with the ball in hand to get us started. As per Rico's introduction, he was an exceptional player for the Amigos during the Kartashu T10 tournament last year. Umpire's just waiting to get started. As we said, the rain has returned at a very unfortunate time, but no sense of the players moving on whatsoever. It's one of the great advantages of using artificial pitches. Certainly the ball will start kissing the surface here from basically ball one, especially with the new ball. And here he is, comes in, bowling, ball one. Good full ball. Tell you what, for first ball of the tournament, Junaid has found the right spot. That's Amardeep on strike for the Indian Royals, and he's out there with Saad, who was explosive in the second game last night. Played some tremendous shots. Not slogs either, but just really solid cricket strikes. Impressive customer. Junaid comes in. Another good full ball. Outside edge. Taken by the man at short third man, but they'll scamper through for the single. And the Indian Royals are able to open their account. Good start from Junaid. I've seen a lot of bowlers struggle in their first over, just trying to get familiar with the surroundings. Obviously the moisture in the air, and clearly here the moisture on the surface certainly not helping whatsoever. But he has got his location right on cue. It seems the rain may be coming down even harder at the moment. Players bravely battling through it. Another good length ball. Junaid getting it up. Chance at the bowler's end. Batsman was a little bit sluggish. Saad thought he might be able to amble through without any pressure. And that was John Zinkas, a man who those of you who tuned into Kartashu last year would be very familiar with. A serviceable medium pace bowler and tidy right-hand batsman, usually better than the top order for them. A few of the Amigos players turning out for Porto today. And cracks the square drive. Nice shot, but straight to the fielder at point. So certainly a step up from some of the cricket we saw from the Indian Royals yesterday. Amardeep showing no nerves whatsoever. And perhaps the belligerent batting of Saad in the second game last night has given their batting lineup a jolt of confidence. Full ball, lovely shot, reaches down, plays a little angled bat, escapes past the fielder at short third man, and they will come through for a second. That's exquisite batting. Ahmed Saad showing plenty of skill. Just needs a bit of support from a few of his teammates. Looks like Anthony Chambers warming up here at long off. Very well maybe bowling the second over. Card short of a length, tabbed again. That man at short third man's been beaten twice in a row. That's clever batting. Certainly potentially a change of strategy here from the Indian Royals, trying not to heave every ball for a boundary, but actually pick up the 2s and 1s where they're available. Certainly on a field, and particularly with the dampness at the moment, it may be the way forward. As soon as this ball gets heavy, which it inevitably will from the wet surface and from the rain, it's going to be a difficult job to hit too powerfully over the top. So that is some really, really clever cricket. And thankfully, back from a relatively wet trip, back up from the central part of the wicket for the toss, Rico Fall. How are you, Rico?
Well, I'm just a little bit damp, just to say the least. Yeah, this rain, we thought that we'd had the worst of it, but it's got a bit heavy here again now. I didn't see this one coming, to be honest, and well, neither did the bowler. And if you needed an indication of how slippery it is starting to get out there with this rain, well, that's a good example of it. The bowler there coming in, getting ready, John Zinkus, and coming down to the umpires. Difficult one for the umpires as well. Obviously, their main responsibility is also to make sure that it doesn't become too dangerous for the fielders as well. So, well, if this rain persists, I'm pretty sure that the umpires will have a chat together. That's umpire Winter and umpire Bucks. And we'll probably say, all right, lads, let's maybe get the covers on for a little while. It may mean that we have to have a reduced match. The thing is, though, looking around, it looks like it is brighter. So as soon as this shower passes, we should be better. Big swing and a miss, and that one's been signalled a wide ball. Now, Porto, a club with immense history, and it's wonderful to see them here taking part in this FanCode Portugal T10.
Yep, they were notably absent from the Qatar Show event last year, and certainly great to add them to the competing teams. A storied club with a very, very long history. In fact, an incredible history with over 100-year tradition of games against a team from Lisbon. It's one of the unknown aspects of cricket on the continent, but they are a very, very well-known club in the area and certainly have a pretty strong playing base who are representing them today. John Zinkus, as we talked about earlier, he represented the Amigos Club before an off-season transfer out to Porto during the last winter, and played a series of roles. He was a very, very reliable cricketer for them. Not particularly flashy, but exhibits a really, really strong, well-skilled batting technique as Saheed goes hard over the top. It's fumbled by the fielder, backward of point. And they're going to escape through for a single. Can't be easy fielding today with the amount of moisture on the ball and sort of rain hitting the eye drops, but Zinkus generally bowled his 2 overs out for the Amigos as well. Nothing flashy with the ball as well, but just disciplined with his line and length and enough sideways movement to keep the batsman honest.
Yeah, that last one there, Ewan McKay, back in the action. Just going over him, I think for a moment he thought he was in with a shout. Did well. I think he did enough by getting the hand that he did on it to stop it rolling down that slight hill there on the offside, go to the boundary. So just keeping it to the 1. But at the moment, this so far is pretty sensible also from the Indian Royals. It's a nice shot again on the offside. You can see that with this rain, the ball's got pretty heavy already. It's not racing along the outfield as you'd expect it to. So I'm thinking already here, Andrew, that a score between 70 and 80 here is going to be a good score.
I'll trump that. I'll even go slightly lower, Rico.
Yeah?
I think if they can get to 70 safely, I think they'll give themselves at least a fighting chance, as one squeezed off the outside edge. The area down to third man or backward point has been pretty profitable for them so far. And that's a pretty solid end to the first 2 overs for the Indian Royals. After their struggles with the bat last night, I think they'll just be pleased to see 0 in the wickets column from now on. They're going at just a tick over 7 runs per over, and they will at least be giving themselves a base to launch from here, and hopefully, in particular, Mohammad Saad is still at the crease when it comes to the middle overs, and that he can unleash some of his undoubted power, as Porto, as many of the teams have done, going to bowl out their premier quick, Junaid, coming in for his 2nd over. He'll finish out the power play. Be happy that the rain seems to have at least ceased for the moment. Good full ball, inside edge. Batsman had no idea where it ended up, but he's going to get 2 for his troubles. Yes,
and let's just go back. I mean, I mentioned in my introduction that, well, the Indian Royals really did struggle yesterday in the first match with the bat. They only got to 49. And look, 49 it was a shortened match, so it was only off their 8 overs. But Jaspinder Singh got 30 of those, and after that, nobody else was able to accelerate. The second match, they started really well, thanks to this man that's out there at the moment, Mohammad Saad. He batted very, very well for me. He scored runs quickly, 29 of 15. But once he went, that was the end of them setting a target, and they just limped along to 60 off 9, and they'll be looking, I think, to get better than that. Well, they could have probably taken another one there with that throw coming in, but yeah, I think that's why you're seeing this cautious approach from them. I think they've realised that, look, looking at the conditions and knowing how this pitch plays, if we can get to that 70 and 80 by batting sensibly, that's going to give us a good total to try and protect.
Well, I must say, the poor chap out there at third man, his gorgeous yellow shirt has now been turned into a few different shades of brown after going backside up. It's gutsy fielding as Amandeep punches down the ground for a single. I don't think that's going to be the first time that someone ends up falling on their backside today, Rico. It's not great conditions for good balance and staying on your feet.
It certainly isn't, and I'll take this opportunity in between this over to say a very warm welcome to all of our viewers, wherever you are around the world, our cricket family. Welcome to you all. Welcome to this FanCode Portugal T10. As that one's played well nicely. Oh, and the fielder, he went down too early, but I don't think it's going to go, is it? No, it slows down there in the sand, and, well, it's only cost another run. It could have quite easily cost a further 3 runs. But yeah, welcome to you all. And how about a start off with this question I was going to ask you, Andrew, but we might as well put it out there for all our viewers. What's the worst conditions that you've played in?
Ooh, tough question. Actually, I say tough question. It's really not. Kosane had a 30th anniversary celebration going back about a year and a half as Saad launches over the top. He hasn't collected all of it. McKay's running back. He's unable to stop quickly enough and won't be able to prevent the 2. That's an example of what these guys are capable of doing. Mohammad Saad in particular took the aerial route effectively a couple of times last night. But so back to your question, Rico, we had a 30th anniversary, 3 T20 games on our field, our home field at On Marsh, and it was absolutely bucketing down.
Yeah.
But one of the teams, 2 of the teams involved had chances of getting through to the semi-finals, and none of us really wanted to have the games played off in a as a result of being cancelled. So we decided actually let's go ahead with it. But if you thought the rain was heavy at the start of this match, probably double it.
Yeah.
And I remember taking coming in and fielding it long on and taking one particular catch in which I went down on my legs probably about 3 seconds before the ball came in, slid a good 5 meters and caught it in my not insubstantial midsection. So that one's thrashed for 4. That's a great shot from Armand.
It was a free hit as well because the ball before was over the waist height. So he's, well, hasn't got a 6 from it, but he's certainly got a boundary. So this is good from these 2. Yeah, so you took it in your midriff, did you?
Yep. Caught it successfully. Probably one of the best catches I've ever taken. One of the most surprising catches I've ever taken. But we do joke about it. But actually, when you're playing on the artificial turf pitches, there is some level of extra concern there with the footing. But actually, most of the players out here are wearing almost the rubber-soled spike type shoes.
Yeah.
Actually, the grip you get on a half-decent artificial turf pitch, as that one's poked straight up in the air.
Yeah, watch the 2 fielders. Oh, you knew that was going to end up not in the right way that the fielding team Porto would have wanted. Well, the only good thing is they didn't hit each other, because that's what I was worried about.
Oh, Rico, if there was ever a time for some socially distanced fielding, that was then. Junaid that had it in his pocket the whole way. Who knows why Raghu Rahman decided to come in for the glory grab, but he's absolutely spoiled what should have been a certain wicket. That's unacceptable fielding.
Yeah, there was obviously no need for him running in. He just basically invaded his space, and the bowler, he'd be saying, well, look, what were you doing? That was mine all the way. The batsman, well, he's lucky Amandeep. He was very disappointed with himself. But at the moment, he's still there, and it's 32 without loss. So this is, I'm pretty sure that they were at this point yesterday. I think they had lost 1 wicket in that second match. They were 32 for 1, the end of the power play, and then it all went wrong, and they could only have managed to get another 28 runs in the rest of the remaining 7 overs. So, well, they need to improve on that. They, well, we've seen most teams go away after a disappointing first night and come back strong, haven't we?
It has been a recurring theme, Rico, indeed. This is Zinkus. Speaking of recurring themes, he's also coming in to bowl his second over. Nicely played off the back foot. Man coming in from the backward point boundary. Armandeep's going to take him on, and he's successfully going to reach 2. There seems to be an extra level of energy in the Indian Royals side today, Rico. I don't know if it's from a few heart-to-heart conversations last night with team management, or it's simply just feeling a little bit more comfortable with themselves after having a couple of games on this same field last night. But this is some good signs early on. Zinkus down the leg side, that's flicked in the air, and just as we were praising them, that's going to be an easy catch. Fortunately, they haven't had fielders manage to run into each other this time, and that's calmly taken by Ewan McKay. And John Zinkus picks up the first wicket today. Armandeep Singh goes for 16 of 13 deliveries.
Yeah, and well done to McCabe. That's not easy in these conditions, takes the catch. And also well done to John Zinkus. His very first ball, before he even bowled it, he ended up on the deck. But he's picked himself up, and bowling this, his second over, has picked up a wicket from the first ball from it. It's the wicket of Amandeep. So I think at the moment, the Indian Royals will still be pretty happy that the big man, the hard-hitting Mohammad Saad, is still there. Though he's not had as much of the strike, but he's playing well. He's playing sensible. And I think, really, if I was the captain of this, the Indian Royals now, my talk last night would have been, okay, you know what, Mohammad, you are going to bat 10 overs. We will bat around you, you bat 10 overs, because he's that sort of player who could score good, quick runs. And then don't forget, they also have Jaspinder as well.
Very true.
Yeah, so they've got 2 quality batsmen. Thing is, they can't afford to lose them both quickly within balls of each other. This one smashed away. What a beautiful shot that is. Balle, balle, balle. Manos arriba. Umpire Winter, that is 6 of the best.
John Zinkus, not quite the pace to be dropping that length, especially when he's drifting slightly onto middle and leg. And Saad has undoubted power, and that is an easy shot for him. Zinkus now under a bit of pressure. A bit fuller. Good response. Unfortunately, there's no man out there at mid-wicket anymore. And it looks like Raghu, the man who spoiled the catch in the last over, quickly trying to make up for it by sprinting in and keeping it to a single.
Yeah, Manjeet Singh is the new batsman, and we saw him open yesterday and get out in the most unusual of fashions. He's be hoping to do one better here tonight. That one just pops up, and I think you know the comments you made earlier about there being certainly a little bit more zing about them. That's certainly true. They're wanting to take singles. They're wanting to make every ball a run. Very few dot balls.
Very true. I'm really pleased to see it, Rico. Actually, they're the first side who's really taken the approach of we do not want to deal with dots. In fact, I don't think we have seen a single waft across the line so far, which is very un-European Cricket Network-like.
Yeah.
But it's actually a pleasing thing to see, especially in these conditions, as Saad charges down the cricket and probably comes closest to the big waft across the line that we've seen so far today.
But he's using his feet.
Using his feet.
He's getting to the pitch. He's not just standing there swinging wildly as another over comes to an end. And with that single at the end of one, they're still going very well. 43 now for one. They're keeping it at the 10 and over. And that's mainly all due to the way they're taking on the field and running. So, yeah, let us know on the chat about the worst conditions you played in. I've got to admit that I was guilty myself, being the captain, of being of putting my team and myself in a situation. But it was one of those end of season matches, and it was the Middlesex League. We had to win. If we had a chance of winning the league, we had to win, and we were playing, like you are, one of the teams that we knew we would beat easily, but we had to play the game. And fortunately enough, the opposition captain was quite happy for the match to go on, so the umpire just basically said to us, "Are you guys sure?" We said, "Yeah, we're sure." And it was raining, there was thunder, there was lightning, we were slipping all over the place. It's amazing that the umpires actually did let it go. And I think the groundsman on that particular weekend was a weekend away in Bournemouth. That's the only way we got away with it. But we did get the win, but we didn't end up winning the league. So really, it was all for nothing. But hey, that was worse.
An experience in and of itself. As we see Raghu Rahman coming in. Just a correction, and it's always helpful to have our friends around the world on the YouTube feed. We've had Ian Selborne mention that that actually Slight opposite situation, actually. There was a case of John Zinkas and Junaid Khan actually being lent to the Amigos team for the Kato Shoot tournament last time around. Actually, they are fully fledged and continuous players for the Porto club, and I'm sure they will be very proud getting to represent their home club on the European cricket circuit today. So thanks for that contribution, Ian. Very much appreciated.
Well, Hogu Rahman has made a good start. A couple of dot balls, and then this one's been hit, sort of chipped over the top. They'll take the one. They'll settle for that at the moment. And I like this. We've seen this a lot already in this series, in this the fifth night. We think the slower bowlers seem to be, certainly if you're bowling a good length, seem to be more effective, because it's very hard, especially when the ball is wet, to get enough power on it to clear the fielder. So this is going to be an interesting phase of play for me. In comes Rahman. And well, this one, I think it's taken something away through, probably a little bit of pad, I'm guessing. Just wait and see what the umpire signals. Would have been a wide if he had chose to leave it, but there you go. There's the signal from Mr. Bucks Fizz himself. Gets the leg up and says that's a leg by.
So back to the chat for a moment, and it looks like we've got some really, really engaged followers today, which is outstanding to see, as Saad turns around and pops it up high. The keeper's going to swallow that. A disappointing end to the big man's innings. We didn't really get to see him unleash with the same fury that he did yesterday, and you can see a level of disappointment. And that's a big, big wicket. Raghu Rahman coming on with his first over, creating the breakthrough. It's well bowled.
Yeah, well bowled. He's pressurised, I think, Saad to play that shot. I don't think he really needs to. I would still go back to what I was saying before. If somebody of his ability can bat all the way through the innings, well, that will certainly do his team some good. The only good thing at the moment is the man that's coming in to replace him, Jaspinder Singh, was also in the runs yesterday in the first match. And if he can score another 30 here and be well supported at the other end by one or two of the other batsmen, they should still get to a respectable score.
Absolutely. Let's see what Raghu does this ball. Good full delivery, but batsman waits on it. Strokes it down the ground. It's just going to be a single. But back to the chat for a moment. So actually we had a note from Tom James Major, who was actually talking about the fact that his schoolmate Adam is playing in this game. That's Adam Mackay, number 5. For those of you who are keeping out on the field, and he rates Adam as a very, very talented player. And I've actually heard around the traps that there is a lot of excitement around him in terms of getting him into the Portuguese national team setup. So they're very, very big on this young man. So looking forward to see what he can do out at this European cricket tournament here in Miranda de Corvo, the Portugal T10, brought to you by FanCode.
Yeah, now how much do you know about this fixture, the Kendall Cup, which is played against Lisbon's, and it's been played since 1861, and I'm told that it's the oldest club competition in Europe, and it even dates further back than even the Ashes.
I have read about it a little bit. There was a cracking book written a couple of years ago, I think it was by Tim Brooks, called Cricket on the Continent. It actually goes on a country-by-country rundown of the history of each country, and that was, I think I actually picked up that book in advance of the Kardashev tournament last year, as we see Neil Charles come in to bowl some left-arm orthodox spin. Gets that first one. It's a nibble away from the batsman. It's well bowled. And that was the first time I actually learnt about this game between Porto and Lisbon. Obviously, there's no sort of real Lisbon cricket club anymore as such, as batsman just heaves it away on the leg side, mistimes it, but it's an easy single. But they've effectively had a continuous game between those two areas that has endured for a really, really long time, and certainly indicative of the efforts of people in various parts of Europe to keep cricket alive. It's had a history in almost all countries, as Singh strokes that through the leg side. They may look to push for 2. That's good aggressive running.
Yeah, that's good running. I think you've got to do a little bit more of that. They started well with Amadeep and Mohammed Saad doing that, but they're both back in the pavilion now. These two have to do the same. I think you've got to attack the fielders in these circumstances with these conditions.
Couldn't agree more, Rico. But as I was talking about, the ebbs and flows of almost in every single country in Europe is, that's an ordinary ball from Charles, and it's been given the treatment it deserved. You certainly do not want to give Jaspinder Singh any freebies. He is a top draw player and very, very strong on the offside.
Yeah, this is just quality. Look, he's flighted it too much. It's a full toss on the offside, and one thing we saw Jaspinder do very well yesterday was put away those balls outside the off stump.
Yeah, he's a good player, Rico, and classical technique, well trained, rocks onto the back foot, nice timing. Not a huge amount of pace coming onto the ball from Charles. He's essentially just giving it a little bit of air, trying to take the pace off the ball. But a player of the quality of Jaspinder rocks onto the back foot, able to create pace off his own bat.
Yeah, so if you can get these straight and try and get the batsman to go across the line, that's what I think Charles will want to do. Again, he's a little bit outside the off, but he's done well. He's got down. He's saved the single off his own bowling, and well, there was the one big hit, but other than that, that's pretty tidy.
They look to be fulfilling possibly a preordained structure here, Rico, in terms of their bowling attack. They've really rolled through the 2 consecutive overs for a number of their bowlers so far. This is Raghu Rahman coming on for his second.
Yeah, just making some changes to the field. And looking at that field, so you've got the 2 men deep on the leg 3 on the leg side. Square leg sort of camouflaging himself behind some of the banners there. Offside, man on the point boundary, and then you've also got the long off. Long off though, as we've said a few times, not right on the boundary, and we saw one yesterday that went over the fielder and bounced and went for 4 rather than 6. So, well, I'm not sure if that's what the bowler, where the bowler wants him to be, but we'll soon know. This comes in again, shorter, and hit not as well as he would have liked, and probably not in the area, probably trying to get it in between those 2 fielders there, and mid-wicket and long on.
Jaspinder's lucky he didn't have his head taken off. That ball was struck relatively solidly straight back down the ground. He's shown a fair bit of agility to evade it as Raghu comes in for his second ball. Full. Jaspinder lofts it. 2 fielders converge, unfortunately not quickly enough to have an opportunity for the catch. They are creating some chances, just not enough going to hand at the moment. And Rico, we've just had Ian actually help once again with some background research, helpfully sending over the Kendall Cup link on Wikipedia.
Oh, beautiful.
Always my favourite reference guide, Wikipedia. If only it was around when I was going through university, it probably could have saved a lot of time. So it's actually, the cup is named, so it's called the Kendall Cup, the event, I guess, and it's the Kendall Cup's the trophy that's awarded to the winning city during what's supposed to be a 2-day match. As that's flashed outside off stump, and it's actually well placed. It's beaten Charles by a good 5 metres, and Singh is starting to get into his groove.
Yeah, I mean, that one again, where he likes it. But what he did well here, when we see it on the replay, he used his wrist really well. He knows that fielder's there. He knows he's got to get it finer. And just watch the way he plays this. It's a clever shot. Look, there's the wrist. Lovely. I love that action all the way. Get the shoulders into play as well.
Well, we've been talking for a couple of nights, Rico, about how that's an appeal. I think the umpire's given him. It was a particularly muted appeal for what I thought was a fairly obvious leg before wicket decision, but the umpire's put his finger up and given the batsman out, and that's all just pretty underwhelming for a wicket. I expected some level of celebration, a yelp out of excitement, a vociferous appeal, but as it is,
he's gone. Can we see that again? Hopefully, I think Daniel might have that for us one more time. We didn't quite get it full on there. But the only thing you'll be looking at there is where the ball actually pitched. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's easy, isn't it? Dead straight. That's nice and easy. That's as plumb as you can get. He's got to go.
Raghu, just as though he's picking up his morning coffee. Just relatively lackadaisical and unexcited, but it's a helpful wicket. Giving him some confidence too. He's right on the button with his next delivery. Manjit ending up with 8 of 9 deliveries. And Raghu has finished a pretty useful 2-over spell there. He's ended up with 2 wickets for only 10 runs, and he'll be happy with his work today. And Charles, who went for 10 off his first over, coming back to continue his work.
Yeah, new batsman Jaswinder Kumar, just quite happy just to sort of forward defend that back. I suppose it's all about maybe here the captain Sukhwinder said, right, okay, come on guys, sensible, smart, We know that Jaspinder can hit the ball well. Let's try and let him have much of the strike. You bowl a bad ball to him, it's going to be put away. And well, that one's just played straight back out. And the fielder does the fielding.
So just for those of you at home who love to track this sort of thing, the outfielders at the moment, they're actually just swinging an extra one onto the offside. They're putting a man at inside the circle that back would have pointed. They've also got the third man in now. They've also got one on the deep point boundary, another here at long off in front of our glorious commentary box. One around at long on, and one man in cow corner, and another looks like it's at deep a square leg. That's Sinead Khan over there as Charles comes in for his third delivery. A couple of dots to start. Spinder goes down the pitch. He's lofted it. I think he's come in too far. Oh. Unfortunately, Ragu can't back up his bowlers the same way they backed up him in the last over. Just came charging off the fence, and Singh actually struck it well enough. Probably needed to just calmly step back to the boundary line, and that would have been a simple catch.
Well, one thing he has done is kept it to one, so you haven't got Jaspinder on strike, but Jaswinder Kumar is doing well. All he's got to do is try and keep Jaspinder, who's hitting the ball pretty well, on strike. But Jaspinder, one thing I've noticed about him, I don't think there's been too many. If it's a short ball, he'll certainly put it away over the leg side. He likes the width, likes it on the offside. He's not the best driver, is he? He always gives you a chance if he's driving.
Certainly plays better, I think, when he's rocking on his back foot with the cuts, and still technically very good player, although he's just floated that one up, really skidded through of him.
Yeah, he's got to look for two, haven't they? And
that's a good throw from the boundary. It might be a chance. Oh, I'd love to see that on replay. That was a superb throw from the outfield. Wonderful, wonderful fielding. I think that was Premal Rojani. And that must have been close. Well taken by Charles. Wet ball coming in from the outfield with a rocket throw.
Yeah, let's see that again. I mean, it had to be close for me. The throw, you're absolutely right. Beautiful. Look, there's no messing. Pick up, and there's the throw. And here we go. Ooh, very, very close.
Tight. Justifiable for the umpire, benefit of the doubt from the batsman, but that's one of the better throwing actions I've seen here in Portugal so far. That was a rocket from right on the boundary line.
Yeah, here we go, Jaspinder again. Charles, can he get the big wicket that they need? And that one stayed low. Jaspinder did well. And many a batsman would have gone across the line to that one, trying to hit it down the leg side, but Jaspinder backs away. But in doing so, he was able to see the bounce and ends up being a valuable dot ball.
Well, not to suggest that we have great complexity with this job, Rico, but the Indian Royals have given us a few challenges, and the fact that a large proportion of men in their team have the name Singh. We've finally actually got two players with separate surnames in terms of Singh and Kumar here, but now we have Jaspinder and Jaswinder.
Yeah. And, well, that's a nice little start. That's good. He's got that zippy little action to get that ball through there.
Well, this was the man who came up with the throw from the boundary line, and actually after seeing his arm, I'm extremely disappointed to see him coming in off about 5 steps and bowling spin.
Yeah, the captain, Premal Rajani. And that one just over-pitched. The batsman will be disappointed that he hasn't got more off that. But at least what he's done is rotated the strike. And we were saying this is good. Much better from the Indian Royals. They're rotating the strike. They seem to be thinking a little bit more. They've got more of a game plan than what they certainly did have yesterday. Here comes Rajani once more. This one's pitched up. And it will be sliced away for another single. They may think about, they should have thought about maybe the second. Try to keep Jaspinder on strike as much as possible. But hey, Jaswinder Kumar's probably thinking, hey guys, hang on, I can hit the ball as well. Well, let's have a look.
Well, Rakesh there in number 11, he was the man who ended up in his backside as that has been launched high and handsome and a good couple of metres over the cow corner boundary. That's a lovely strike from Jaswinder Kumar to get this run rate accelerating again.
Yeah, lovely shot there, and well, he's absolutely right. Okay, I'll take it back. Jaswinder and Max by there. He's starting to break somebody's sandcastle as he retrieved that ball, and well done, Max By. One of the European Cricket Network team here, Max By and Mars, doing a great job there, getting all the scoring information to you, and supported well by some of the locals as well, Bruno, Conrad and Paolo. This one will be a single.
Just win a rare heave across the line for the Indian Royals. In this game, I've been really impressed with what they've done tactically with the bat, Rico.
Yeah.
And do you think there's any chance that they've actually gone back and looked through some of the earlier streams in the tournament and taken our well-placed advice about looking for the boundaries, particularly around the point area where the ground tends to run a little bit quicker?
Absolutely. I've no doubt about it. Look, many a team, many a captain, and it's the same here, always say, look, we listen. I mean, the Gurkhas said to us after their first event, said, yeah, we listened back and we listened to some of the things you said and pointed out. And I think, well, the Indian Royals will be the same. Their captain, Sukhwinder Singh, is a very wise player, and I think he knows where they made their mistakes, and he was very keen, very determined, I think, to make sure that he had that meeting with his players and they came back with this sort of frame of mind. And look, if they can, there's 5 balls to go, if they can manage to get, well, even off those 5 balls, 10 runs to a ball from here in, I think they've got a very good chance of registering their first victory.
I think it's set up to be a great game as we've got Suraj Peshwaria coming on. Bit of pressure on him, first over for the day, and he's bowling the final over as Jasbinder gets that off the bottom of the bat, pushes, hoping for the error, but looks like young Adam Mackay safe out there with his hands. They've defended reasonably well in the outfield, a couple of missed chances, but the fielding has been solid in difficult conditions.
Peshwaria.
Well, that's full ball. His bat's cracked in half.
That's a bat breaker, that is. Well,
his bat's cracked in half, but he's still punched it to the boundary. Rico, we've seen just about everything this week, but seeing a piece of willow snap in half off a chest-high full toss that will end up in a free hit, but the batsman managing to send that between 2 well-placed fielders on the leg side of the boundary, I think I've seen it all.
Well, that was amazing there. I mean, the bat is just literally snapped in half, and well, the umpire saying, come on, hang on, let's compose that. Look at this go. How about that?
Oh, looks like he's caught it right on the toe end. I think the willow has ended up going to the 30-metre circle. The ball's travelled to the boundary.
Well, that's another one for the Kookaburra. And, well, they've broken a few bats, these Kookaburra balls, but nothing as dynamic as that. This should be a free hit. So that shouldn't count, should it? No, they've got to run. No. Come on, get with the game plan. Well, we've seen that many a times. Not the first time we've seen that on a FanCode European Cricket Series. It's obviously a free hit, but nobody realised, and if anyone should have known, the batsman should have, shouldn't he?
Oh, he's probably too focused on
Look at this.
The fact that he's got another bat that he's got to get ordered.
He was walking off. He was walking off, and all of a sudden it was their player saying, free hitter, yaar, ki kar rahe ho, free hitter. Well, Jasbinder.
I don't think Jasbinder was alert to it either. He was just sitting on his heels.
He wasn't indeed, anyway. Here we go. So far, it's been a pretty good over. And this one's been well hit. The fielder is coming underneath it. Can he take the catch? And, oh, nearly, but he keeps it in play. They come back for 2. That was a very good effort. Once again, it's not easy in these conditions. And Anthony Chambers, well, almost took a sensational catch there.
Almost, but I'd also suggest that he probably should have taken it, Rico. That ball was in the air for a reasonable while. He actually looked to have made good ground, stayed pretty calmly, and so perhaps it's actually just slid out because of the wet ball. Didn't do too much wrong as Jasbinder has given another one to Raghu, who's charged in again, but has cleanly taken the grab, and Suraj Peshwaria is very happy that he's after a clean bowled, after a dropped catch, he has finally gotten his reward.
Yes, and, well, Jasbinder had to go for it, I suppose. He's slicing it again. He seems to try and, when he gets to the ball, his arm, if you like, comes from quite wide in and out again. And I think that causes that slice action of the ball. He's not actually coming on it straight and hitting it straight. And that's something which maybe he will look back and have a look at. He hasn't got the, what I like to say, hasn't got the hammer hit. You know, like the hammer throws that come right the way through. He's sort of coming wide and turns and sort of hitting it inside out. And because of that, I don't think he's getting the full power in the shot.
So when you're doing your development work back in Spain, Rico, do you work with the youngsters on power hitting techniques these days?
Yeah, I mean, what we tend to do a lot more now in Spain is because a lot of, especially the Spanish youngsters, they don't know the game so well as they come into it and they know things like baseball. Well, we don't discourage them hitting the ball in any way that they used to. You just see this delivery here. And that's pretty well hit. They're going to have to run. Well, they may not have to. It may go all the way through. Well, he's got a foot on that. I think has he kept it in? No. And that's good. Good sportsmanship there from the Porto players. They saw that that had gone for a boundary and it's been given. And that is a very valuable strike there towards the end of the innings. And it's, well, 4 runs has been signalled. And we'll come back to that score. But, yeah, I mean, going back to that, all we say to youngsters, right, okay, hit it any way you want. And one of the things we find, because they all know baseball and they know rounders, we're just basically giving them, you know, throws, and they're just hitting the ball into the nets, and then we take it from there. So, yeah, we are encouraging the hard hitting, because I think if you take the old method of, you know, forward defence and getting your feet in the action, what we lose is the power hitting. They're not hitting the ball well.
Absolutely, Rico. And it's actually, I think it's been one of the fascinating developments over the last 3 or 4 years, actually. And for those of you who are, whether you're young or whether you're old, there's actually a great wealth of materials, whether on YouTube or wherever, to teach you through some of these advanced skills of the T20 game, T20 and T10 game. As we go to the highlights package, and I'm not sure there were too many bigger highlights than John Zinker's falling over in advance of his first delivery. But the Indian Royals started well. They
look at that. Well, we've seen the bowler go down. We've seen the fielder go there. And, well, it was all happening out there. But I have to say, you know, look, these weren't easy conditions of Porto. They did very well. I think they were intelligent the way they used the bowlers. And, yeah, okay, a few catches went down, but in general, took the catches as well. And they bowled a pretty good line as well.
I think for those of you who are in the UK or Australia possibly, I feel like we should have had some Benny Hill music running at the start of that highlights package. The boys in the truck have managed to, I think, find every bit of footage that has involved a player falling over on their backside and put it in the first 10 seconds. And magnificent entertainment all round. But there was also plenty of entertainment with the bat and the ball. That man, Mohammad Saad Ansari, really threatened to unleash at one stage, but departed before he'd done too much damage. He was another victim of Ragu, and it was well taken by the keeper on that occasion, Savapathy. But Jaspinder, he was the bedrock of the innings again. Ended up with 18 off 14 deliveries, and while he didn't necessarily dominate at any time, he certainly helped lay a platform that has given the Royals a more than defendable total. Managed to take the singles where they were available, and it was just a very disciplined batting performance all round from the Indian Royals. At no stage do they really get bogged down, no stage do they end up with a series of consecutive dot balls. They were looking for the singles at all times, managed to keep the boundaries coming as much as possible, despite the fact that they were playing on a field that was probably not conducive to either big hitting or certainly a frequency of boundaries. A couple of disappointing efforts in the field, certainly no lack of application from the Porto team, just misjudging the ball on occasion, and there were certainly a couple of opportunities where they could have had a couple of the big-name Indian Royals players back in the pavilion. Saw the magnificent throw there from Ramal Rajani, as we talked about on the coverage. Rajani came on and bowled his left-arm spinners, was dispatched for 1-6, and this was probably the greatest moment of the innings. The bat flying to the 30-metre circle, the ball flying to the leg side boundary, a piece of willow that is going to be used as firewood later this evening. Unbelievable stuff, and what we've come to expect from these European cricket games. And Portugal is delivering no shortage of action, and as we saw, the clean bowled off the free hit, so no impact there. Chambers had an opportunity to take a wicket there with 2 balls to go. As it is, it was left to Raghu Rahman to finish him off the bowling of Suraj Peshwaria. And that was the end of Jaspinder. And then the last ball, hoiked for 4. Could that be a difference maker in the end of this game? That's a great way to finish off. And that left the Indian Royals, as we said, on 91 for 4 off their 10 overs. We'll have a quick run through the batting card. They sent Amandeep Singh and Mohammad Saad out to open. They had a very effective opening partnership and actually looked to have a good amount of cohesion. They had a first wicket partnership of 34 off 3.2 overs before Amandeep was out off the bowling of John Zinker, who bowled solidly. He was caught by Ewan Mackay with a score of 16 runs off 13 balls with 1-4. His partner Mohammed Saad, as we said, looked to unleash on a couple of occasions, but just didn't have the same rhythm as yesterday. But he still managed to score 21 off 15 before Raghu Rahman had him caught by Kanaka Sabapathy, who had the gloves today. Manjeet Singh, the wicket-keeper, he was out LBW to the aforementioned Raghu for 8 of 9 with 1-4. Jaspinder, the rock that the Royals build around, he was dismissed for 18 of 14 late in the innings off the bowling of Suraj. And then the two not-out batsmen, Jaswinder Kumar, looked pretty good for his innings. He managed to keep the score ticking over, particularly with 3 boundaries. That was 2 4s and a 6. He was not out 17 off 11. And the cult hero Sukhvinder Singh, the skipper, he did not get to face a ball that just came out for the final delivery. Before we leave you for a moment, we'll just roll through the Oporto Cricket Club bowling. Junaid Khan, 2 overs for 24. He probably actually deserved better than that for a man coming in and bowling his first 2 overs of this event. He actually got it on a good line and length, bowled nice and straight and his usual pace. 24 off his 2 with 1 no ball, 1 wide. John Zinkas, 2 overs for 19. He did manage to pick up 1 crucial wicket to get the wicket tally moving for Oporto. Raghu Rahman, actually 2 pretty good overs in the end, get enough sideways movement to just make things difficult for the batsman. He had figures of 2 for 10 runs. Neil Charles, he is the left-arm orthodox, 2 overs for 14 runs with no wickets. And then the 2 bowlers who came in at the end to bowl 1 over each, Pramal Rajani, 1 over, 9 runs, no wickets. And then Suraj Peshwaria, plenty of action in his final over. He went for 12, but with that 1 solitary wicket. So this game very well set up for a cracking chase by the Oporto Cricket Club. Not sure that they will be feeling an immense amount of confidence in challenging conditions, but we know they've got a strong batting lineup. We know they've got plenty of hitters and guys who can manipulate the field around. I dare say this will be a very close game. So please come back and join us in a matter of minutes for the chase. Indian Royals 91 on the board. Oporto needing 92 to take victory in this Portugal T10 contest. Back to the luscious Miranda de Corvo Stadium here in the Coimbra region of Portugal, and as you can see, it is very wet, very dreary, but nonetheless the cricket is continuing. The players from the Indian Royals and Porto Cricket Club bravely playing through these wet conditions to ensure that we can get a couple of games of cricket here today, and we're all very thankful to their efforts as the teams come back to return to the field. The Indian Royals will be particularly happy, particularly after a couple of substandard performances yesterday. They have put 91 runs on the board in their allotted first 10 overs of this game in the Portugal T10 competition, brought to you by FanCode, and I'd suggest that in these wet conditions they will be feeling pretty confident about being able to defend that lofty total against this Porto Cricket Club, but there are no shortage of quality batsmen that they will have to work their way through if they are to be successful in this first contest and bring up their first win of the tournament. They had a fairly difficult last night playing against Oeiras Cricket Club in the doubleheader, the first two games of their participation in this Portugal T10 competition. And Oeiras, as we've seen throughout the tournament, just having the benefit of playing a couple of games already, and most of the teams have looked decidedly better when it's come to their second night of play. The teams essentially playing two consecutive nights as we roll through 23 days of cricket here at Miranda de Corvo for the European Cricket Network. And the Indian Royals have shown that same trend today. That was by far their best batting performance here at Miranda de Corvo. They looked in complete control. All of a sudden, the middle order was contributing. They were scoring runs with ease, taking singles when they were on offer, and just all round a very, very good performance. And it has certainly put them in a solid position to rack up their first win today. But the Porto Cricket Club will not let this go without a fight. I'm actually really, really looking forward to seeing how they attempt to chase this down, and John Zinkus is the man who's going to face the first ball, which is going to be delivered by Saheed, who came up with a couple of impressive performances last night. And joining Zinkus at the crease, it's Anthony Chambers, who we saw fielding at long on for most of the first innings, by just waiting to give the signal to let Saheed unleash with the first delivery of this innings. Zinkus, a classical player, generally tries to pick the gaps earlier in his innings and just wait for the loose ball and doesn't miss out too often when he gets the opportunity to dispatch one to the boundary. And the umpire swings the arm around and we're on board for the second innings. Saheed wide outside off stump, and it's not the start he's after. John Zinkus will not go chasing that sort of tripe. He'll happily take all the wides that are on offer, and Saheed and the rest of the Indian Royals team will not be wanting to give away freebies and start to give some unnecessary momentum to Porto Cricket Club in this chase.
Yeah, Saheed, he's got to get this line right. They've done the hard work, and they've got the runs on the board. It's about line and length now.
Well, he's given Zinkus an early opportunity to rock onto the back foot, and he's pulled that for 4 over the sand track. Talked about the fact that he does not give away opportunities when they're presented to him. That was a little bit of a quicker one from Saheed, but it got up to a comfortable height, and Zinkus has put it away. Good start for Porto.
Yeah, and one of the things that the captain was telling me from the Porto team, Premo Rajani, was saying that most of their players haven't had the advantage of playing T10, but he did say to me that the two players, or some of the players we mentioned that played last time in that tournament, well, they will be a massive boost to them. And one of those players is this man, of course, John Zinkus, and he scored 105 runs in that series. And he'll be hoping just to carry on from where he left off. He does hit the ball very well.
Yep, solid player. As we said, he's got a really, really good base to his game. Defends well when he needs to. Smart player, picks the gaps well. Doesn't really overpower sides with his batting, but there's plenty to like about the way he goes about his business. As Saheed drops it short. Zinkus challenging with the single. Chambers just escapes through. There was an opportunity for the man coming in from covers, but needed a direct hit. And in these T10 games, you have got to push the singles when they're there. I'm sure the Porto side have talked about the fact that the boundaries will be hard to come by. They're going to have to wait for bowlers' errors, so you've got to take singles when they're there.
Yeah, that was a direct hit. He was gone. And it was a good pick up and throw, clean, no messing around. In comes Naki once more. And that one is one of the few so far that we've seen pop up. Well, the keeper celebrates like he's taking the catch, but I think he's just having a little bit of fun, and why not? Listen, this is a series that no doubt either one of these teams can, if they get their best game plan together throughout the rest of the series, can go on to win. But it's all about having some fun as well, isn't it? It's all about enjoying your time out here in front of the world stage.
Well, I'm not sure Chambers will find it too fun if he gets another one going around his earlobes. Saheed hitting the pitch hard with that last ball, and he's got a good strong action. Doesn't run in particularly quickly, but gets into a reasonable side-on position and then really lets rip. First couple of balls, not quite with the direction that he'd like, but he's gotten back into his rhythm now. That's a good ball. Yeah, he punched off on the back foot from Chambers, and they're going to take another single. It seems to be the plan from Oporto that they're going to take every opportunity to move between the wickets that they can.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the captain here, Sukhwinder, I would definitely have one of those men on the offside right in to cut that shot out. I mean, if you're a bowler, when I used to bowl, that's one of the things I always used to make sure when I wasn't the captain, I always said to the captain, look, set the field. I know a lot of captains like to set their own field. I said, I don't mind that, but I don't want to be giving any singles away, regardless of what the match situation is. And I think they seem to have done that now. There's a man closer in, and straight away, well, the batsman forced to play a different shot, but he's going to get another chance because it was a no ball. So that's obviously a foot fault there, being called very early. And nothing that we can see there on our screen, but of course we're not looking at that at the right angle. And that's difficult, I think, for a bowler, because I know that the umpires, Bucks and Winter, were talking about this yesterday, last night, was that what's happening is some of the bowlers, when they're putting the foot down, of course, if it stays planted and it's above the line, it's fine, but with the wet surface, it was sliding forward, so nothing was behind the line.
Well, he's gotten away with it, Saheed. Big swing across the line from Zinkas. He can't make any contact. And from that ball before, it's almost as though the skipper, Sukhwinder Singh, has got an earpiece getting some commentary from you, Rico. Within about 0.2 of a second that you mentioned about having the in-out field and the infield, he's immediately moved the man in at cover to try to cut off that single.
Well, there you go. You were wondering if they listen to us. They're listening to us all the time.
The Rico disciple, Sukhwinder Singh. Saheed coming in, trying to finish off this over. It's another short one, top edge from Zinkas, gone straight over the head of the keeper. I'm not sure it's going to reach the boundary, but they may steal a two. That's good aggressive running. It's going to be pushed. Direct hit might have had him in trouble, but that's good pursuit of the two from Zinkas. Saheed getting another ball to really, really lift. I think he's probably just a bit short at the moment with the total they're defending. Get the ball in the block hole and try to keep the defensive pressure on.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the end of the first, and it's a good start, isn't it? I mean, they've got to be going at around about 10 and over, and they've got it. And at the moment, they're going at more than that. That's 11 without loss. And the key thing there was running all right. There was some risky. A direct hit, I think, on both of those sides at the stumps could have been interesting. It could have been making their way back, but they're still out there. And I think you've got to be like that. You've got to keep putting the pressure on the field, because put the pressure on and mistakes are made as well.
Absolutely, Rico. I think anytime you've got a 50-50 chance for a single and you're going to only be dismissed with a direct hit, then you've got to challenge the fielder, particularly when you're pursuing a chase like this. If they're going to reach the required target of 92 to win this game, they are going to have to take every single run on offer to them, and they look to have been prepared to do that so far. It's a good start, but trying to continue the momentum with the ball for the Indian Royals. This is Jaswinder.
It's a nice firm hit outside towards the covers, but it will just be a single taken, and he'll be pleased with that start. I think when you're a bowler in these conditions, the main thing you're worried about is how the first ball is going to come out and how you're going to feel yourself when you plant your foot down. So with him, well, he's done okay with both of those, so he'll be confident now coming in for his second.
It's always a relief to get through that first ball as Jaswinder comes in for ball number 2. Zinkas facing him. Well, whatever confidence he had from ball 1 has probably been decimated by ball 2. Looks like it's slipped out of his hands slightly and dragged it well outside off stump. Tough start from Jaswinder. Looks from the early exchanges like the opening batsman, Anthony Chambers, who's out there with John Zinkas, has a pretty tidy technique. I'm sure he's a very accomplished batsman in the longer forms of the game, as Zinkas almost gets yorked, but toe end of the bat, drags it across to the man coming in from mid-wicket. That's a relatively easy single, but Chambers looks to have a pretty composed and high-quality technique, presenting the full face of the bat to everything outside the off-stump to date. And he's probably one of those players that the Porto side will be looking to try to build their totals around and give the opportunity for some of their bigger hitters coming in unleashed later in the innings. Might be regretting playing that outside off stump. Could have allowed it to go through for what would have been a fairly obvious wide. Jaswinder getting away with one. It's not a bad start from the Royals with the ball though. Haven't been the recipients of a number of boundaries which could have put them on the back foot. Full ball, it's absolutely castled him. Well, after an up and down over so far, Jaswinder and me talking about the quality of Anthony Chambers' front foot play and presenting a full face of the bat, he's just been yorked. And that is a superb piece of bowling from Jaswinder. And that is a big wicket. And the total of 92 that they are chasing looks a lot further away now, Rico.
That's a beautiful delivery. You beauty. And look, from the moment it come out of his hand, you knew the batsman was going to struggle. Sort of just committed a little bit too soon, Chambers. He was on the move forward. The bowler's got it in the right place. He's going through the bat and the pad and hitting and knocking them over. That's a lovely bit of bowling. Good control under these conditions.
Absolutely. But it has resulted in Junaid Khan coming to the crease, and from seeing this man do his work in Qatar Show last year, he can hit a big ball, Rico. And given they need to start accelerating the run rate, he is an excellent man to bring out at number 3. As Jaswinder continues probing for a second wicket. Junaid swings across the line. Well, he may be capable of hitting a big ball, but he's just going to have a return to the pavilion today. Not sure that was necessary. First ball, give yourself a chance, young man. But he's come up with a massive swiper across the line, and Jaswinder has taken him down and is now on a hat-trick next over.
Shot Maria Ganda, Bapas Chilagaya Banda, as simple as that. It wasn't a good shot. He certainly didn't need to play it in that fashion. Look, I was just about to talk about his series the last time round. He was on fire, 126 runs he scored. He's a good player. Now that sudden rush of blood, talk me through that. What would be going through your mind to play that type of shot? I mean, we're seeing it again here. Just wasn't there, was it?
Absolutely, and the point that we made again about the Indian Royals batting lineup, Rico, there was very little swiping across the line, and it served them well, and yet already one of the premier batsmen from a Porto Cricket Club has been dismissed without even taking a sighter from a massive swipe to the leg side, and he's had the ultimate punishment, and he's back in the pavilion only facing one delivery. And poor John Zinkas, as was the case for many games with the Amigos Cricket Club in Qatar Show, he is sitting there trying to hold the innings together. He's barely been able to get himself back on strike. It looks like there's still potentially one ball to go from the over. The batsman having to...
Well, I'm excited about it because you know why?
It's a hat-trick ball, Rico. It's a hat-trick
ball, yeah. I didn't want to wait till I know it's still technically a hat-trick if he bowled it like if he came on to bowl that fourth over. But if he's got one more here, hat-trick ball, are we going to see the first hat-trick here in this Portugal T10 FanCode series? Well, here we go.
Well, I think it's about the 4th or 5th time we've had someone on a hat-trick, which is just remarkable. But Jaswinder comes in. Oh, that's an awful ball. Clearly, the little rest that he had over in the covers, expecting to have a further 6 balls before he got the hat-trick chance, has just scrambled his mind, and he's put a deplorable delivery about a metre down leg side.
Yeah, I mean, that's all about breaking the concentration, isn't it? He's come off his bowlers, and he wasn't expecting to. He's come back. Well, can he get it right this time when he comes? Oh, this one's gone exactly the same way. What's happened here? Is it the same bowler?
This is remarkable, Rico, for a man who has cleaned up 2 of the premier batsmen in the Porto club on consecutive deliveries. That ball almost ended up off the pitch.
Yeah, he's just, he's gone back to his mark. He's probably having to think to himself, come on, just do what I did before. Get it on the stumps, pitch it up on the stumps. get that radar right again. Here we go. And that's better.
Oh, that was close. Maybe a gentle inside edge from Premal. It's probably the only thing that saved him, but he looks like he gets a little bit of dip when he gets those balls full, and it's just confounding the batsman.
Yeah.
2 ridiculous deliveries before then, but he's come back with his magic on that final delivery. Just Winder, hasn't he come up with a super over?
Well, bowled really well. I mean, you've got to forgive him for those 2. I think he's gone away, then had to come back again and get himself set. But the last one, yeah, just catching the inside edge off the bat of Rajani. Otherwise, well, that would have been close as well. So we are going to see now Mohamed Saheed to bowl the 3rd over. So 16 for 2 after 2.
Coming off a short run, Zinkas drives nicely down the ground. Great placement. It may pull up. Jasbinder, I think, has failed to keep it in despite his best efforts and fancy footwork. Enough fast running on the surface to take that to a boundary. That's a really good shot from Zinkas.
It's a nice shot, but you know me, when I saw Jasbinder running after it on this surface, this wet grass, I'm just thinking, dive, 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 just get a slide in there. He would have gone forever. He would have just kept on going. He would have ended up in the sandpit.
Well, he's close enough to hear your advice, Rico, and I'm sure he's very much appreciating it as Mohamed Saad sends one down the leg side. The keeper's had his work cut out for him on a number of recent deliveries, but Saad not coming with particular pace at the moment, just coming off a couple of steps run up. Zinkas facing up. That's hit him on the pads, about a metre outside leg stump. No chance of that being given LBW, but they scamper through for the single, and that brings Rajani back on strike.
Yeah, it's important now that these 2 build a partnership. The rate, it's okay, it's still under 10. And we've seen that, well, we saw that in the first innings, that without really doing anything too risky, that one's just going on down the legs, and they'll take another leg by. Yeah, the Indian Royals, without taking too many risks, really. They batted sensible, they took singles, and they were always more or less at 10 and over, so it can be done. And that's exactly what these 2 batsmen now have to be thinking, Rajani and Zinkas.
Well, they've still got enough batting in the sheds to chase down this total, but the scoreboard needs to be ticking over at a faster rate than they've got at the moment. Sorry, bowls full. Zinkas drives down the ground again. It's only going to be a single this time. Sukhwinder Singh comes through and saves the ball. And that is a man who could be decisive in the coming overs, Rico. We've seen what Sukhwinder managed to do last night, picking up 5 wickets across the 2 overs. All of those savvy Dream 11 players would no doubt have the little captain from the Indian Royals in their Dream 11 fantasy team after his wicket-taking savagery last night.
Yeah, he bowled very well for me. He was very clever little player. He's a thinker, he definitely is. See, this one whizzed in, and that's a much better delivery. And just gave that one a little bit more, Mohamed Saad. And you just think, well, if you got that there, that's what you need to be bowling all the time. I've got the feeling you probably gripped that across the seam and just fired it in. Sometimes he just tries to do a little bit too much with the ball. Ends up going down the leg side. Here he comes again, and well, this time once more onto the pads, but no extras this time, no leg byes taken. Good bit of fielding, and that's the benefit of having that fielder in close. And over comes to an end, and a little signal there from umpire Bucks to Sukhwinder Singh just to say, look, you're running a little bit behind, keep going. And we know we've already seen that once or twice in this series where teams have just run a little bit behind the rate, and they've ended up being penalised with penalty runs.
Well, it looks like Amandeep Singh coming on to bowl the 4th over. He's going to have the benefit of 5 fielders outside the circle now that we've gone through the 3 overs of the power play. A Porto Cricket Club at 25 on the board for the loss of 2 wickets. In a reasonable position, as we've said, need to get the run rate up a little bit, but they've certainly got a base to work from here. But Amandeep bowled a couple of good little spells last night. I think he's a talented bowler, and if he can tie them down in these 2 overs in the middle overs, then it will be going a long way towards the Royals winning the game. Drop short, Zinkas onto the back foot. Easy boundary for a man of his quality. Probably didn't get the elevation that he was initially looking for, but they will happily take the 4.
Yes, absolutely. One thing that we've noticed, and we were in here the night number 5. There hasn't been too many consistent boundaries hit. I mean, some of that's been due to the weather that we've had, certainly the last 2 nights. But when you see those boundaries, you know that's how important and how special they are for the team, because most of the time it's really been sort of tiki-taka stuff. So we haven't really seen any team yet, or any real batsman really go to town with the boundary. So, well, you get a boundary for your team in an over where you've got a run chase on. It's massive. That one's going in the same direction as well. Too short, Gandhi ball, and Jokka Hogia. You can't bowl it there. Can't he be any ball? So he just rocks back. Look at this. It's easy. It's short, rocks back, and bang, off it goes. Fetch it.
It's good technique though, Rico. He's timed that well. Didn't look like he actually wanted to elevate that ball at all. A little bit outside off stump, but has got an excellent position early, and he's forced a change in the field. Man going around, and looks like he's being put all the way out to the deep square leg boundary. They already had a deep mid-wicket in place. The other 3 outfielders are the man here at long on, just been to quite straight at long off. Zinkus is beaten outside off stump, and we've also got a man at the deep point boundary, but 2 fours in this over. Zinkus got them back on track.
Yeah, that was a better ball, better line from Amandeep. Let's see if he can keep it there or thereabout again with this one. Yeah, that's better. That's better. I am surprised, Andrew, that Amandeep has come on to bowl here. We already saw when he was on the hat-trick, he was called back to bowl those 2 more balls. It took him time to adjust. I just think if you've got into the groove here, stay on. So I would have gone with Kumar.
Difficult call up. Well, as Zinkus hoiks another one to the leg side. Flashing bit of fielding. That's
wow.
Ansari coming in with a rocket arm. I'm not sure Amandeep will be desperate to take one of those on the full again next time, but it certainly prevented the opportunity for the batsman even thinking about a second. And Saad Ansari now coming into bowl.
Amandeep did well though. That was thrown with some ferocity, and he managed still to get the ball to go onto the stumps. But fortunately, the batsman had made his ground.
Well, keeping in mind it's only a 40-metre boundary out there, Rico. He's probably hurling that in from about 35. I'm sure Amandeep might be suggesting to him next time that unless there's a genuine run-out chance, just maybe chill out a little bit with the throw to the bowler's end, or go to the keeper's end where he's got a nice cushioned pair of gloves.
Oh, that's going to be a no ball. It's 2 no balls. It will be. Well, no, it'll be a no ball on a bye, won't it?
Well, this is Saad Ansari coming in again, coming off the short run. That's a fairly horrific start to his over. Free hit, and Pramal Rajani, who hasn't really got going yet, he's no runs off 4 deliveries, getting another free hit opportunity.
Yeah, he's got to make this one count, as he really has. And, well, he has indeed. Balle, balle, balle. Well, you're going to be bowling those. They're pies, they are. And they're going to be put away. And put away big time as well. Full toss on the legs. Now, this is unusual because when he bends his back, he gets the ball to zip through. And I'm not really sure what Mohammad Saad is doing here. He's sometimes he's right on the money and got the ball going through outside the off stump. Other times he bowls this, and, well, of course it's going to be put away, especially when it's a free hit.
Well, it's a garbage ball when you're bowling against a free hit for a batsman that's backing out to the leg side, desperately trying to get in a position to play that sort of shot, and he's just fed it exactly where Pramal Rajani could have asked for it. Saad, pressure bit of back on him now.
Yeah, he's got to
run
get
rate
this
up to 10, Rico.
Yep, it's absolutely spot on where they need to do. They're getting the runs as well. They're taking the singles, good running, getting the boundaries as well, and also getting the extras with that no ball that also went for the bye as well. 12 extras, and it's something that could be well, it could be the deciding factor in whether the Indian Royals can register their first win in this series or not.
Oh, short ball. Zinkus tries to pull it, came onto him much quicker than expected. And Sari says, well, not going to get spanked over the leg side boundary again. I'm firing this down with a few more clicks of pace on it. Maybe indicative there that he should be going back to his medium pace run up and give it a little bit more oomph. Zinkus loses his shape somewhat, but gets an underneath edge. The ball goes down to man coming in from fine leg. It's only going to be a single. Brings Rajani back onto strike. precariously poised, this chase, Rico. We're almost halfway through the innings. And Porto Cricket Club are there or thereabouts as that one beats himself outside off stump. It's one of the few balls that Ansari's actually bowled outside off stump. I'd certainly be recommending that he tries to challenge Rajani to take the ball through the covers rather than his favoured leg side area. That's good bowling again. Keeper fumbles it.
Ooh, now that would have been close. I'd like to see that again. I wonder if you've got that on the side angle, because once again, I think another direct hit here, I think he would have been out, you know.
Well, another eventful over.
Yeah, here we go. You see, look, he's had a swing. The keeper's recovered well. They've got the throw in. Yeah, he would have been gone. He would have been gone. He would have had to dust himself off and make his way back. But these two at the moment, they put a 30-run partnership on together here. So this is good. Remember, it was 14 for 2. They're doing what they have to do. They're doing what I was saying they need to do, get a partnership. And somebody's got to break it. And if one man can, well, certainly the captain can. Remember, he took 3 wickets in the first match yesterday, 2 in the second, 5 in the night's work. Wasn't bad work from him. And now he's coming on to see if he can break this very crucial partnership.
I'd love it when a skipper turns around and gives a little look to the outfielders just to make sure that they're in the right spot. As the skipper, Sukhwinder Singh, doesn't start well, drags one down the leg side. He's definitely one of my favourite players in Portugal, Rico. Love seeing him go about his work. There's a couple of cult heroes in and around Portuguese cricket. I'd put Krut Patel, man who we've really enjoyed over the last couple of nights for Werris Cricket Club. He definitely goes into the cult hero bucket as well. But Sukhwinder Singh, he's just a flamboyant character. Great thinker about the game, as you said earlier, strategically. He's a very, very sharp mind, and man who is can be alleged to look non-threatening with his slow left arm, but he became a wicket taker again, and again. Drops a little bit short. It's heaved over the leg side. Should only be a single.
Yeah, I think most of his best work yesterday was done when he just got that ball flighted up, and most of the time he's getting it flighted and around middle and off stump. Anything short, he was put away because the short ball is just sitting there nicely, giving the batsman, especially the right-hander, room to just swivel on it and send it. So he's got to be wary of that. He does have 2 men down there for it, so Square Leg and Cow are in place. Let's have a look. That's fuller, that's better. It's up in the air, and fielder will just have to tidy it up and get it in. And he's taken an age to do it, and that's nice work from the batsman. They're looking to put pressure on the fielder. I don't mind seeing that. The non-striker there, when he gets to the other end, starts taking a few steps, and everybody shouts at the fielder, get it in, and anything could happen. But the fielder kept his nerve, got a good throw in. Sukhwinder Singh trying to get the breakthrough, trying to end this partnership.
Well, Premal has smoked that over the Cow corner boundary. Sukhwinder Singh looked like he finally had his line on track, but Premal has taken full toll. That's actually a glorious shot. Held his stroke very, very well. See this on the replay. Skipped down the ground and knew it was only ever going to go to one place from that point on. Lovely strike.
Yeah, Sukhwinder needs a reply. Goes a little bit outside the off, and that's been hit well. And the ball, well, is bobbling away. Is he going to get to the rope? Oh, that is a marvellous stop. That is fantastic. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Jasminder, did you see that? That's what I'm talking about. Get down, get dirty, because this is not their fiesta. This is what it's all about. This is sensational. Great stop. Look at that. Oh, that's beauty.
I love to see that desperation, Rico. And when Mohammad Saad Ansari hasn't had his best game, particularly with the ball, but isn't that inspiring to see one of your gun players absolutely throwing himself at a ball travelling at some rate of knots to the boundary?
Yeah.
We should have given credit to Premal for a really clever bit of batting. He'd taken the previous ball out to the deep Cow corner boundary and then opened up and took the massive gap between the covers to try to stroke another boundary. But desperation for Ansari has saved 2 runs. This is really heated up now, Rico.
Heated up to where we're, look, the score now, we're on 57, 2 wickets down, so this partnership just growing and growing. 36, required now of 24 balls, so the rate is under 9, so it's the lowest that it's been. And of course they've gone straight away for the big gun, the only man that's taken wicket so far. It's going to be Kumar coming back. Can he get the wicket that he needs? He thought, I'll just get a warm up here, because he knows that when he gets a little bit cold, they go down the leg side. I like Kumar when he gets it right, because the ball doesn't come through. He gets it in the right spot, but without the zip in it, and the batsman just starts to play a bit too early. Let's see, can he break this partnership? Kumar.
Well, Pramals waits for it. Ball not coming off the surface on that occasion, but strokes it out for a single. Got the opportunity now, Porto. They're almost up to 10 and over, so they certainly can't do this in singles, but they can certainly pick and choose and wait for the bad balls. It's a 50-50 proposition at the moment. I'm not sure who's going to take this test as Jaswinder comes in. Second ball, full ball down the leg side. Is it going to be called no ball? It is. Well, he's been so up and down today, Rico, and that's maybe why his captain was reticent to give him a second over, that he'd been all over the place, including knocking over a couple of sets of stumps. But now an opportunity for John Zinkas to have a free hit. This could be the decisive moment of this game.
Yeah, he didn't mess up the last time. And, well, he may get another chance depending what the umpire says. Well,
terrible play from the keeper. There was
they
never
may even
a run
come
out
back for
opportunity.
2 here, you know. And, well, they do. And, well, it should have been nothing. It ended up being 2. I suppose under the context, though, 2 from a free hit. I won't think that's too bad. But, well, they can't throw this away here now. They did good work with the bat, the Indian Royals, and now they've just got to keep this shape. The extras are going to hurt them.
Well, I'm really plugging for them, Rico. They fought bravely in tough conditions last night. They did enough with the bat earlier today to put themselves in a winning position. It's just Jaswinder comes up with his 3rd clean bowled, and the stumps have been knocked off their base again. This man is feast or famine with his bowling, Rico. It's either a completely mediocre wide no ball, but on the occasion he gets it right. Boy, has he had an impact.
That was, well, it wasn't the best of shots. You've got to say that from John Zinkas. He's been there a while. I think he's starting to see the ball good. When he looked back at that, he'll know that wasn't the right shot to play. He came forward, leaned into it. Now, I just think that that's to do with the deceiving pace of Kumar. I think because the batsman can see the ball's not coming, he's automatically going towards it, and then they get themselves in a pickle. He knew if he just waited for that, he could have been clipping that down the leg side. But, hey, this is what he does. And Jaswinder Kumar taking his 3rd wicket. And it's the prize wicket as well. The captain, though, I have to say, Primo, he was there for a long time. Took him 9 balls for his 8 runs that he was on. But then he hit that lovely shot. And all of a sudden, he's going out. So now it's key for him to raise the bar, start playing some shots. And now he's probably saying to all the other batsmen, look, I just need you to be here with me. Keep rotating the strike. Keep taking these singles.
He does look like a class player, Pramala Rajani, the captain. And he's joined out here by Suraj Peswaria. Bowled the final over for Porto in that innings of the Indian Royal side. He needs to give some support to his captain. Critical time of the game. Well, he's taken the long handle. First ball that's gone a mile in the air. 2 fielders converging. It's fumbled. Peswaria is pushing through for the second. Full dive. The keeper's taken the stumps off. The umpire's hand stays down, and that is a lot happening on a single ball.
It went a long way up. Look, I don't think they're running. They made it in the end. But look, a lot of ball watching as that ball's in the air. This was a good effort. It's dropping in front of him, got his hand to it, and then here the throw, good throw, and the dive. He needed the dive to get in. And I like the look of the batsman saying, looking at the umpire saying, I'm in, I'm in.
Well, I suspect Peshwari has been sent out there with a genuine licence to hit and to try to thrash around to get this run rate up, and he's been castled again. Jaswinder, he cannot stop hitting the stumps in between his wides and no balls. But this has been a remarkable spell of bowling. 4 clean bowls in a 2-over spell. It's Vickers now 4 wickets for 9 runs off 1.5 overs with 1 no ball and 3 wides. This has been one of the more amazing 2-over spells in this European cricket T10 tournament.
It's been absolutely fantastic. Look, yesterday we saw for the first time bowlers getting 3 wickets. Sukhwinder Singh 3 for 12. We saw Sonny Okuma 3 for 5, and also Conrad Greenshields took 3 for 6. That was great. That was fascinating to see under those conditions. But under these conditions, where I think it's even wetter, this man, Jaswinder Kumar, has taken 4 for 9. He's still got a ball to go. He could end up with a 5-er here.
Well, what's going to happen, Rico? What's your prediction for next ball? I've got absolutely no idea what's going to come out of his hand.
Knowing his form, probably be a wide down the leg side, but who knows?
Come on. Let's have a 5 for. I'd love to see a 5 for. Jaswinder comes in, his final ball. Good full one. Well, disappointing for the crowd all round. Just a gentle pushback from Raghu Rahman, who comes out to join his skipper, Ramal Rajani, at the crease. And, well, it's a key double strike over from Jaswinder, who has ended up with figures of 4 wickets for 9 in his 2 overs. And if the Indian Royals win this game, they will certainly look back to his contribution. When you put it in perspective, Rico, he's got 4 for 9 off his 2 overs. So the rest of the side has gone 0 wickets for 54 runs in the 5 overs. So he has put in a big spell in carrying them as Amandeep Singh comes in to bowl his second over. The skipper Pramal on strike. Rocks back, manages to get a good piece of willow on it. They're going to take a second. Jaspinder a little bit slow, and his sidearm throw.
What's he done here? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, how about that? I could have. First of all, I don't know why he was having it. He almost got the ball and said, "I don't want it." Has a shot at the stump. Then he thinks there's nobody there. Runs afterwards. Runs after it. Runs past it. Couldn't stop. Slides past it. Think, what have I done there? It's all live on TV.
I got a vision of the old show. It's a knockout there for a moment, Rico, with players slipping and sliding all over the place. Just needed one of them wearing some horse head, and it would have been right up there with the best. It's a knockout games as Raghu heaves that out to deep square leg. Man coming in, just a single, and the gentlest of throws possible to ensure that there's not another overthrow. It seems to be an affliction that is going around more and more of the Indian Royal side. Amandeep comes in. Plenty happening at the Miranda Corvo ground this afternoon. Medium pace ball, well taken by the keeper. Seems to be his most effective pill, actually, Rico, when he actually goes for the quicker one, gets a bit of skid.
Yeah, that was a good take. I'm liking this from the keeper as well. Look, he's backing himself up, and the bowler's got to bowl the right line, though, haven't they? There we go. That's very good. Well, not sure where he took that one. May have even hit him on the lid, but he's still standing up, and this is good because he's keeping the batsman in the crease.
Keeping him in the crease, keeping him honest, and it's been a good over so far from Amandeep. Needs to finish well. That's short. Pramal tries to heave it over the leg side. 3 dot balls in a row. It's good bowling from Amandeep.
Yeah, he's good. He's made up. He's made up for the entertaining 3 runs that he gave us. But yeah, can he get this one in the right spot? Batsman will want to go after him. Big shot here, I think. And, well, he did try, but he's got through, and he's made amends of the comedy that started off this over. Well bowled, Amandeep Singh.
Well, the Indian Royals have probably now put themselves in the ascendancy. That is the 5th wicket down, only 67 runs on the board, and 25 required for victory off the last 2 overs. It's certainly not out of the realms of possibility whatsoever, but the odds are very much in the favour of the Indian Royals, and well, haven't they deserved it, Rico? They fought so hard last night. They would have been disappointed with their performances, but they've regrouped, they've batted well, and a couple of heroic bowling performances from both Jaswinder and now Amandeep.
Yeah, but Andrew, I've got to remind you, this is T10. Anything can happen. You're suggesting it's game already over. 25 runs in 12 balls. That's just 12.5, 12 and a half and over. Listen, if one of these batsmen can get going, who knows? But I agree with you, they do deserve it. I did feel a little bit for them yesterday. Well, where's this one going to go? And the fielder's done superbly well there for a moment. I thought he's going to commit himself and it's going to go through him. That's a great stop, great bit of work.
And Sabapathy, another Rahman, has joined Raghu Rahman at the batting crease. And he is coming out with absolutely no time to get his eye in. Saheed with the ball at the moment, trying to come in and fire the Indian Royals to a first up victory. The Porto team under massive pressure now. 11 balls left in this game. This chase not out of reach, but looking very, very difficult. Saheed comes in. Good length ball. Sabapathy pulls it out to the leg side. An opportunity for the run out, but Saheed coming up with a childlike throw. Fortunately cannot hit from side on. One stump to aim at, to be fair, but he certainly took a fairly conservative approach in trying to come up with the run out.
I think he was just worried about, he really wanted to chuck it. He thought, no, I can't give overthrows away, and he comes again. And that's a good ball, good line. It's just going to go straight to the fielder. And it's signalled no ball, so, well, they're still being very generous with these extras. That's another one. So this is a free hit. Now this, well, what a massive piece of play this could be. He's a big man. If you can send this over the boundary, he's going to do their team a big favour.
This could be the decisive moment in this contest, Rico. Free hit coming up. Saheed bowling to Sabapathy. Foolish ball, it's gone through him. They managed to scamper through for a single as the keeper fumbles it, but that's a pretty good result for the Indian Royals. Only the one, and Saheed will breathe a sigh of relief.
Yes, he certainly would. If that one had found its way aerial over the boundary, who knows? It's going to be Rahman now.
Excellent curl of the tongue, Rico.
Yeah, yes, that's the Spanish side of me coming up. And here we go. It's nicely hit, but it's just going to be a single. Well, it should only be a single. They will take it on, and, well, it's thrown to the wrong end for me. And in the end, it's tied it up. 2 runs taken, but they need more than that, don't they?
Well, Rico, I'm not sure the kids at home should be taking too many pointers from that last bit of running. First and foremost, Jasbinder probably had an easier run out at the bowler's end, but when he went for the keeper's end, Raghu was turning around, just ball watching instead of putting his head down and making his ground, but is not punished. He's still there. Short, Raghu makes a little bit of room for himself out to the offside, but not getting any more than a single off that ball.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm seeing here, apart from Zinkas and Chambers maybe, is a little bit what the captain was telling me, Prema Rajani, that they predominantly do play the longer format of the game. So they need to take some adjusting, but the shots that both of these batsmen are playing and the way they're rotating the strike and getting the singles, it's the sort of thing you see in the longer format of the game. Nothing wrong with it at all, but when you've got a T10 and you're on a run chase, you've got to be prepared to play a few extravaganza shots. That's what they need here now if they're to win this match. And they're not going to get it. What they're going to get is the ball smashing into the stumps, and the bails, well, look at the action. Those bails were in there, but it wouldn't have been great if this was when all the lights were out and only the floodlights on, because that would have been absolutely spectacular. Well, what a good wicket that was.
We may have to have Mr. Maximo look into the records of the European Cricket Network. We see on the replay, that's a delightful delivery. Just a little bit of tail in and takes the middle and off stump. Super bowling. And as you say, Rico, the bails have gone flying. But 6 wickets down, and they have all been clean bowled to date. That's a quite remarkable statistic, certainly not wanting to rely on their fielding at the moment. But what will he end up with? Still 6 balls to go. Could we have the entire side be castled in the same innings as Neil Charles has come to join Sabapathy at the crease, and he has a big, big job, and once again, absolutely no opportunity to get his eye in. They are 75 for 6 wickets down with only 6 balls to go, still needing 17 runs to take this game, 16 for a golden ball, and my favourite Indian Royal player, Sukhwinder Singh, has the ball in hand.
He has, and well, he hasn't been at his best. He can't drop it short, can he? Let's see with the first one. This is on the legs, and he's been hit hard, and he's going to go to the boundary. Is it? No, just being picked up with the fielder, and just wondering, just if that had gone for 4, would the jitters have come in to Seguinda? But no, he's a cool customer, isn't he?
Well, as much as he's been a wicket taker, he's also been relatively expensive, Rico. It's a big call for the captain, taking responsibility. Bowls a good ball, floats outside off stump. Charles tries to tickle it on the leg side, no success. Clever bowling from Seguinda.
Yeah, he's showing all his experience here now. It's just all about, he's probably saying to himself, I've just got to float it up there, outside the off. And there we go again, it's on the off stump. He knows that from there it's going to take a very, very good shot if the batsman can negotiate it to that shorter boundary on the leg side. And, well, I think we can now start to say that they certainly do deserve this, and they have, and they've come back well, and they've come back really, really strong.
Come back really well. Sabapathi needs to call his shot over the leg side. He moves across. I like the theory, but can't make contact, unfortunately. And Seguinda doing the job in this final over, which should secure victory for the Indian Royals, barring some miracle. And that's been popped up. Man coming in, fielding in a slightly awkward sort of cornered mid-on position, I guess you'd call it. Particularly thinking they've got Jasbinder straight down the ground as well. But Seguinda Singh bowled a good final over here. Neil Charles faced the last ball, swing, and the keepers had him stumped. That is success for Seguinda. Unfortunately, he destroys the scorecard, which was looking so pure, with nothing but clean bowls up until that point. It's taken until the 60th legal delivery of the innings before we finally had a dismissal that wasn't a clean bowled. But nonetheless, that is a well-deserved victory for the Indian Royals. They will be cock-a-hoop at finally getting their tournament on the board. They are now 1 win and 2 losses from their 3 matches, Rico. That is good news for the Indian Royals.
Yeah, it certainly is good, and you can see the relief from them after to see these highlights. And it started, well, not that great for them, to be honest, because John Zinkers, he was in very good form, finding the boundaries earlier, and he was supported well by Chambers. But then that man, Kumar, he decided that he was going to do some damage, and didn't he just? I just loved the way that when he did control it, he did lose control a few times, but when he got the ball in the right areas, getting the wickets and making the ball talk. And well, this was a real surprise for me when Junaid Khan came out and played that shot first ball up. We were expecting to see a lot more from him.
Absolutely. That was probably the turning point in the game. If Junaid Khan had been there for 10 deliveries and launched a couple of lusty blows, then the Porto Cricket Club could really have gotten close to chasing this down. But as it was, Jaswinder come up with the double strike in both of his overs. He was certainly the X factor that the Indian Royals brought to town today, and he is probably a pretty good shout for man of the match, Rico. As we see the end of these highlights, Zinkas playing a couple of good shots in anger. We knew he was a quality player, and he showed some of his ability today. A couple of really, really good shots out to the leg side boundary. Ansari, not the same quality with his bowling tonight. He started well with the bat, but coming off that short run, just not as effective. And I'm sure there's more to come from him with the ball later in the tournament. But there we go, Seguinda Singh getting launched by Pramal Rajani. Rajani actually looked really, really good in his innings. And for so long as he was at the crease, Rico, you thought there was a pretty fair chance that Porto were going to get that 92-run target.
Yeah, this was a great bit of fielding for me. That to me summed up the Indian Royals today. That summed up the way they came, and this sums up why they've won this game, because the man doing the damage was Jaswinder Kumar, bowling a good line, wicket to wicket. And the thing I'd say about that, anyone who's looking to start playing this game, any youngster learning the game, it's all about bowling a good line, wicket to wicket. Don't worry about how fast you're running. The first thing is getting the ball right up there. If you can do that, then you're going to get wickets.
It's good to see the Indian Royals getting rewarded for their persistence and getting rewarded for what was at the end a very disciplined batting effort. They took the singles while they were on offer. They reduced the amount of swipes across the line. I thought it was a really impressive performance from the team, and they have completely turned around their tournament with that first game today.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, we said yesterday that the batting just didn't look good. They didn't support the earlier batsmen in both those matches. Jasbinder in the first game made 30, and then in the second game, Mohamed Saad, he made 29. But the other batsmen just didn't really play to the plan. That was good work there again from Manjeet Singh. He looked good as well, and I think he's another one. If he can start to produce with the bat as well, they're going to look good, they're going to look strong, and I think a lot of these players haven't played. We were talking, of course, to Owarish yesterday, and they're saying that they have managed to have a little bit of nets back where they are, but not too much. The same applies to all of these teams, but look, if the good players, the more cricket they play, they're going to get better and better. I think we're going to start to see more runs on this pitch as well. I think the weather is also going to get better, which is going to be more runs. It's going to be exciting stuff, but all really we can say is, first of all, we have to congratulate Raju Rahman. He bowled very well, taking 2 for 10, but the main man with the ball, of course, can only be Jaswinder Kumar, taking 4 for 9. And the other big news that I can tell you, of course, the viewers at home already have that when they see the information coming up on the screen, is that the toss was won by Saheed Singh. What do you think he's going to do?
Ooh, is he going to put a total on the board?
He's going to put a total on the board. So
I want someone to have the guts to say, I'm going to chase under lights. Oh, there we have had a couple of victories so far for the chasing team. More so because of sloppy batting from the opening team. But speaking of sloppy batting, there was a little bit of that in the Oporto team. Quick run through what turned into a very lengthy batting card. John Zinkas, probably the most impressive at the top of the order. He rolled through 4 boundaries on his way to 25 off 23 before he was clean bowled, as many were today, by Jaswinder Kumar. His opening partner, Anthony Chambers, he was cleaned up for 2 off 5. Junaid Khan, really, really disappointing to see him go first ball. Put Jaswinder Kumar on a hat-trick. Premal Rajani, a couple of lovely strikes for 6 over the leg side. He was out for 21-18. He was a victim of Armandeep Singh, who bowled a very good second over in a pressure-filled situation towards the end of the innings. Suraj Peshwaria, clean bowl by Jaswinder Kumar for 2 off 2. Raghu Rahman not out, 8 off 9 balls. And then Kanaka Sabapathy was bowled by Saeed Ali Naki towards the end, and Neil Charles was out. The final ball of the innings, the first wicket that wasn't a clean bowl. He was stumped by Manjeet Singh off the bowling of Sukhwinder Singh.
Yes, and on the bowling side, well, we've already mentioned him, and we just win the Kumar, and we're already looking forward to seeing when he bowls again next. But he was just fantastic. Just look at that, 2 overs, 4 wickets, only conceded 9 runs. And those 9 runs, well, it'll be interesting to see how many of those 9 were actually extras because of wide balls. I would say at least 5 of them were. So that just goes to show how incredibly good he was. There was good bowling from everybody. The only bowler that was probably, if you said a little bit too expensive, I would have said, and didn't bowl at his best, was Mohammad Saeed. I mean, he only went for 16 runs. He didn't take a wicket. So you would say, well, look, Rico, you're being a little bit critical. But I think when you watched the way he bowled, I think he was just trying to be a little bit too experimental. When he just ran up and let the ball go, he was far more effective. So well done to the Indians, the Royal Indians. They've got their first win. They had a hard day yesterday, but they've come back. Well, they went to the drawing board. They well, obviously had a few deep discussions within their team, and they've come back and, well, they put it to practice. And there's no reason why, especially having won that toss, they can't go and win both these matches here today.
Well, it could be a 2-2 start for them from the tournament, Rico, and that would give them massive confidence as they move forward in this Portugal T10 tournament here at Miranda de Corvo. Brought to you by FanCode as part of the European Cricket Network. There is a bevy of cricket still to come through the European Cricket Network YouTube page and also through FanCode in India. Don't forget, we're here for 23 consecutive nights in Portugal. Plenty more cricket to come from this wonderful venue, Rico, and we get to do it all again in a few moments with these teams resuming hostilities for Game 2 tonight under lights.
We certainly do, and thank you, of course, for joining us. We love it that you're there, and we love that all the chat that is happening around us. And just to give you an idea where we were before we leave, you'll come back in about 15 minutes time for the next match. Well, we are surrounded by natural beauty. I took a nice walk today along the biological park in the Luisia mountain range. Now look, this mountain range, you've heard me talk about the Iberian lynx and the wolves. Well, there's bears there as well, wild boars, and also otters. Now there's a river that runs alongside there, and I actually saw a family of otters, no kidding you, and it was absolutely beautiful. Eagles as well, and a lot more. But I tell you what would have been nice is to finish that walk and then maybe have a nice bit of lunch. And this is what I'm going to be looking for tomorrow, Andrew. I want to have I think it's pronounced as chafana. It's a dish made of lamb cooked with wine, herbs, and it's a speciality here in this area, and I love my lamb.
Not in the mood for an Angel's double chin after the discussion yesterday.
Well, yeah, okay, but I think I like the idea of having my pastels in the morning, and then I can work them off, work the grasa off when I go for a walk. But in the evening, yeah, a nice bit of this shafana, this dish made of lamb, cooked with wine and herbs. Oh, what could be better? Especially on a day like today when it's a little bit nippy, a little bit chilly, and maybe with a little bit of diesel on the side as well. And of course I mentioned diesel because Bruno, who's been doing an excellent job here around the ground, and I know there was some talk about Bruno yesterday from Yannick. Yannick, if you're watching, well, Diesel is here, so don't worry. And well, he isn't quite looking after us the way that he looked after you. But on that note, this is Rico Full and, of course, Andrew Ryan, and this is the FanCode Portugal T10. We will be back in about 15 minutes' time to bring you the second match between Indian Royals and Porto.
So we're here for the toss for game 10, home team of Porto Cricket and Lawn Tennis Club, and versus Indian Royals. Come on, you call.
Heads.
Right, and that is tails. All right. So Indian Royals.
Would like to bat first.
In the bat first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you have it. There's the coin toss for this match 10. No surprise, we've talked about this before. When those floodlights come on and we're playing in the night, I think the team that bats first and puts the runs on the board is usually the one that goes on to win it. And we believe that if you can get to 80, between 80 and 90 in the night time, especially with these conditions here today, that is a good toss to win. So Sukhwinder Singh winning the toss, and he's going to have a bat. Over to you, Andrew, in the commentary box.
Thank you very much, Rico. And we are here now for game 2 of the Portugal T10 here on Saturday night in the wonderful Coimbra area, the Miranda de Corvo ground. And we have the Indian Royals coming out to bat. A quick look at the fantasy dashboard. I'm sure you guys are all very familiar now with the Indian Royals team. A Porto team, for those of you playing along in the Dream 11 Fantasy, Junaid Khan, a man you should definitely have in your squad. He will almost undoubtedly bat high and get through his 2 overs every game, as will John Zinkas. And I would suggest, from a look at that last game, Pramal Rajani, capable of some big hitting and will certainly get through some overs. He looks like he's got good value at 8.5 cost for your Dream 11 Fantasy team. Indian Royals, that man Sukhwinder Singh continues to lead them. He is a wicket-taking genius at the moment, so make sure you get in and play Dream 11 Fantasy for all of these games at the Portugal T10 tournament here at Miranda de Corvo. And we have a cracking second match ready to come up for you here. The Indian Royals getting the opportunity to set a target for the second time tonight. A Porto Cricket Club, they are opening up with Junaid Khan, their paceman, for the second time again tonight. Mohammad Saad at the batting crease, and he's joined by the destroyer with the ball from game 1 tonight, Jaswinder Kumar, the umpire, just waiting for his signals to get play underway. And the arm goes down, and we have a lift-off. Junaid coming in for ball 1. Short ball swings prodigiously down the leg side. Umpire forced into a wide call, and that gets the Indian Royals score up and running. Junaid bowled pretty well in the first game. Man who could do with a couple of overs under his belt. These players haven't had a great deal of opportunity to prepare for this tournament, and obviously all of those who have had the chance to come and play games in their previous nights feeling very comfortable with this venue as Junaid. A little bit of swing again down the leg side. Keeper dives, unfortunately in vain. Can't stop the extra run, and the Indian Royals are now 3 for no loss and without a single legal delivery on the board. That's a tough start for Junaid. Probably a bit disappointed that he went wicketless in the first game. Trying to get that seam into better position, just getting a little bit too much in swing, and it's swinging early. It's a new ball. It's better length, still that late in swing, and it's cannoned into the pads. Saad taking a step down the track, can't make any contact, and just to note, it's actually Amandeep Singh who's out there with him, who's about to face Junaid Khan. They batted very, very well together in the first innings. Were a big reason why the Indian Royals were able to put a score of 91 on the board, and in the end it proved more than enough for the Porto Cricket Club, largely because of the work of Jaswinder with a succession of clean bowls as Junaid steams in. Short ball, rocks onto the back foot. That's not going to roll to the boundary, but it's pulling up inside. It'll probably get 2 runs as Amandeep turns quickly. That's a good bit of batting. Junaid more than capable of extracting a heavy bit of bounce out of this Miranda de Corvo track. Digs it in short, but Amandeep rides that bounce, takes it down to the area backward of point. We've talked already the last couple of days about the fact that the field does run quite quickly down there, but certainly hampered by the amount of moisture that has come down in buckets in this area today. So it's nicely nudged down. Man coming in from just wide of third man. keep it to a single. Brings Mohamed Saad back on strike. The big biffer from last night played a superb innings in game 2. Belted a couple of wonderfully struck sixes and some of the cleanest hitting that we've seen at this Miranda de Corvo venue so far in the Portuguese T10 competition. Shade trying to get through his over. No boundaries as yet. That's the one positive for him. That's a good ball. Finally gets his line right. Starts it outside of off stump, and that has kicked off a decent length. Good luck to any batsman getting bat on ball. But the keeper, unfortunately, slight fumble, and Saad managed to scamper through for the bye. He's now at the non-strikers end and arm deep, about to face Junaid. Indian Royals managed to rack up some runs in this over without a great deal of fuss, helped by the extras being handed to them by Porto. Junaid, it's a good ball, almost cut him in half. Finally got his line and his length right. Ball just swinging a touch later, which is helping with his accuracy. That's a super delivery. It's good action, Junaid. Runs in very smoothly, very rhythmically. Gets a lovely high front arm. Generally gets his seam position in a very, very strong place. Allows him to swing it both ways at times. That one's down the leg side. Same issue that he was having in the first couple of deliveries. It's the danger of trying to swing the ball early. Just giving away unnecessary extras. And Porto would have had a few words within the team. I'm sure they had plenty of positives to take out from that first game. A few contributions with the bat. Zinkas and the captain, Pramal, both batted well, but just needed more from some of their middle players as Junaid squeezes that one down the leg side again. The keeper, Sabapathy, can't glove it, and yet another wide. He will be increasingly frustrated, Junaid. Might be well served by just delivering a few cross seam, just trying to get through his over. He's got more than enough pace to trouble these batsmen. He's very wary, though, of the power that Mohamed Saad has. Doesn't want to just leave him one on a very hittable length that's just dead straight. That's a good ball. Starts outside off stump. That kick off a good length, and despite his troubles, Junaid's managed to get through that over with only 11 runs on the board. Be fairly frustrated with the amount of extras he's given away. Only 4 runs off the bat, and no wickets down yet. And just joining me in the commentary box after a short little jog from the middle, Rico Full. Rico, good to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back, and well, it's a good start there from Junaid in terms of when he did get it right. The problem being the extras. I mean, 11 runs there, but I think more than half of those so far have come from extras, and it's a nice start for the Indian Royals without really having to, well, not even exert themselves yet.
We talked quite a lot in the first match about how disciplined their batting was, as John Zinkas, he has not had a good time on his first deliveries, has he? And for those who were with us for the first game, he lost his back footing completely and ended up down on the turf. And as it is there, a man who prides himself on his wicket-to-wicket bowling has just dragged one way across to the leg side at very low pace. Maybe a little bit wary still of that footing. That one swings away late. It's a pretty decent ball, actually, but skids off the pitch, doesn't really get up at all. Batsman Armdeep really pushing through for the second. Heads up play. That's good cricket. A little bit of a sloppy throw coming from the man who collected the ball down at the fine third man area. Allows them to get through for a second. Good play from the Indian Royals. They really feel like they're on it today.
Yes, it comes bowler again. This time played out the off, no run. Yeah, I like that from Armdeep there. They took the first one, and then he kept an eye on it. He saw the fielder had it, and when he saw the throw and where it was going, he was off like lightning, got to the other end. Very clever. This is good. This is what they need to do. That one again, pretty wide, and get signalled wide. So, well, we saw a lot of this from the Indian Royals. They gave a lot of extras away in that first match between these two teams, and now, well, with them, Junaid Khan and now John Zinkas are doing the same, just not getting the ball in the right areas. And conditions, to be honest, have actually got better. They started that first match, they were in the rain, and it was not nice conditions at all. But with better conditions, they seem to be struggling just a little bit more here, Andrew.
No, for some reason, I don't know if it's just, should only be a minimum of water on the surface now. This ground actually drains pretty well. As Zinkus drops it short. There's 2 men out on the boundary on that offside. And the fielder coming around from behind point has managed to trap it with his foot. Cristiano Ronaldo-esque, given that we're in Portugal. But they scamper through for the second run. That's a good positive start from Armandeep. He looks in tip-top form again. He batted well with his partner. They sort of complement each other well, don't they, Rico? One power hitter, Armandeep, far more likely to tuckle away twos.
Yeah, and that's going to be another wide ball right down the leg side. Well, maybe it's not. A surprise there. That's obviously touched something on the way. And don't know whether we can see that again, but no wide being signalled, so it had to make contact, I suppose, with maybe it just touched a little bit off the straps of the pad and way through, but that one's been clobbered, hit hard, fielder's giving it chase, and he's not going to get there. That's 4 runs. Nicely hit. It was a full toss. It was a nice offering for the batsman outside the off stump. Made no mistakes and put that one away.
Well, anyone who had their eye on the bowler as that ball was running relentlessly towards the boundary would have seen the utter frustration from John Zinkus. He slapped himself hard on the thigh, disappointed with giving away such an easy boundary ball as he comes in and tries to complete his over without too much more damage. Swings it down the leg side, and the umpire gives it a moment's thought before swinging the arms. This has been a really, really ordinary over from Zinkus, who is a quality player.
Yeah, that's wide there. That's 13 extras already. This score of 23. That's not the start they would have wanted. They need to come back strong. They want to be looking to win this match. They're going to have to do it the hard way because they're going to be chasing in the darkness underneath the floodlights. And not too many teams have done that very well, especially when a decent score has been posted. And it looks like it's going to be a decent score here with the score now on 22. 2 overs gone. It's very, well, 23, excuse me. I'm just running one behind. 23, 2 gone, no wickets down. And it's certainly nice and fresh here. And talking of fresh, well, I'm going to talk about a team which I think has the best name in European cricket so far, Fresh Tropical. And we got to talk about Fresh Tropical because they were the champions in Milan. We'll talk a little bit more about that in between this over. And that's been hit out towards the fielder. We'll take a single. Junaid is carrying on, Junaid Khan. Yeah, now we've been following the proceedings in Italy closely. It was the last day, finals day in Milan, and what excellent cricket we saw. But the final, well, it's probably one of the best matches that you could see. And if you did miss it, go back on our YouTube channel and watch the final. Just watch the final match in Milan. Let's play it away. Good batting this, good running between the two batsmen. Very good understanding between them with them liking here. That's the leg by. So just give you the information there. Now it was a low scoring final. And well, the reigning champions, Bergamo United, and they were the undefeated champions, of course. They only made a score of 74, so it was a low-scoring one. And, well, the Fresh Tropical started badly. Still coming through again. Look at that. Look, that's hardly gone a couple of meters away from the batsman, and they've come through and taken that single. This is impressive stuff at the moment. And what was impressive was Fresh Tropical, even though they lost wickets early, I think there were 9 runs, 4 wickets down, they still came back and won a 10th final with 6 balls to go. So well done to Fresh Tropical for being the winners in Milan and going through to the grand final that will be coming up later in the year in Italy. But the team there, the crew, the European Cricket Network crew in Italy now, well, they're on their way now to Borussia, where it all starts again on Monday. So well done, guys and girls. You're doing a fantastic job there. And you are spoiled, our viewers. 4 matches during the day. And then you got the Notte de Fiesta here in the evenings in Portugal.
Well, Rico. Oh, as we've just come back after Rico's soliloquy about the Fresh Tropical group, and Junaid Khan has come up with a ballistic in-swinger. He's been swinging the ball prodigiously all over. Hasn't had it under control, but that is an absolute corker of a ball, and very little that Armandeep could do. That is a cracker.
Well, I like to see this again. This certainly went through with a bit of zip, a bit of pace. Look at the movement on that. Now look how where the batsman finishes. If we can see it from the bowler's end again, it'd be fantastic. When the batsman has finished, you cannot even see any of the stumps. So how that ball, you can see how much the ball had to have moved to get there. What a great delivery that was.
Oh, an absolute peach. He is swinging it a long way, Janae. We know he's capable of doing it, and we know it's also led to a few issues of control and giving away a few wides, but it's also the weapon that's allowed him to get through the defences of one of the better batsmen here in this Portugal T10 competition.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday, Andrew, that you said that's probably the best ball that you've seen so far in this series. Maybe the best ball you've seen so far in the year. Well, that one is going to take some beating.
Ooh,
that was a corker.
That was a cracker. Absolute cracker as Junaid comes in again. You'd love a second. One swings early as Manjeet Singh, the wicketkeeper, did a good job with the gloves in the first game. He's a handy batsman. They'll need a little bit from him now as they end up with 27 runs on the board for 1 wicket down off the first 3 overs. And Rico, we are now out of the power play.
Yes, and once more we have to say that Indian Royals, they'll be happy. They're going at around 10. They've managed to do this now consecutively in 3 matches on the spin. Unfortunately, they haven't always gone on to score the kind of score that we would have thought they'd be projected to go on to do. Now this is an opportunity for them to do that and really put the pressure on Porto. That's short, and that should have been thumped away. And well, it must have made contact with something, because the umpire's not calling a wide there. So it's obviously brushed the leg or the strap of the pad. These all have to be wide. Well, this time he's thinking, okay, umps, if you're not going to give me the extras, I'm just going to put them away. That's a nice shot. Got into position nicely and fired that away. 4 runs.
Well, swiveled at his hips in a way that would have been impressive on the Coimbra dance floors. Mohammad Saad, that's a ball that is slaughtered to the boundary. Great batting. This is Premal, the captain, who's bowling his left arm spin, and Saad drills it down the ground. Consecutive boundaries despite the best efforts of Junaid Khan. Gutsy effort in the outfield, full length dive, but he cannot prevent consecutive 4s off the bat of Saad. We know this man can hit hard. We know he can do it consistently, Rico. Is this the start of an onslaught?
Well, that was a delightful shot. That was top draw. What can he do with this one?
Oh, he's taken
another go. He's trying to get it through the gap there. They're going to have to run these, and they do come back sensible from both the batsmen. They take a look first, and they come. Yeah, he's trying to take control here.
It's good batting from Saad. He's managed to get 2 again, 10 off this over so far. It's an interesting change that Premal has brought himself on much earlier in the game 1. He was restricted to 1 over, only bowling. Oh, it's hit straight back at him, and he's dropped it. That could be a big fielding moment in the context of this game. Mohammad Saad is in a mood and drilled it back at the skipper. Almost half evading, half trying to take a catch. He's popped this one up. Fielders converging from deep. Junaid Khan, he didn't settle underneath it, and he's dropped it. That's not good enough for a player of his quality, and particularly when the most electric batsman from the opposition has given you such an opportunity.
Yeah, what an opportunity it was, and it goes down, and you can see that Junaid is giving his chest a rub, because that's where the most of the impact from that ball was felt. Totally mistimed it. He did the hard work. He got to the ball, but then couldn't get his hands there. And that drop catch, well, how crucial is that going to turn out to be?
Well, Rico, that's what you get for having a rock-hard chest and abs. Maybe Junaid should be spending a bit less time at the gym. If he'd come take our approach and have a little bit more softness around the chest area, he might have had a little bit more suspension and taken that catch. But as it is, Neil Charles coming on to bowl his left arm orthodox. Double spin attack here from a Porto Cricket Club. It is all happening at the Miranda de Corvo Cricket Ground.
Yeah, all happening here in the night. 2 matches. Remember, every evening, 4 overs, 39 for 1. And this is one I think they really want to attack. They want to go after Charles here. And he's hit it hard at him, and Charles has done well. He's going to feel that. He's being brave. He's not giving it a shake. He's not giving it a rub. He's a big man, Charles. I mean, that probably would have been a single despite his efforts. I don't think it had enough to go all the way. to the boundary. This is the moment for me, I think, where something's going to have to give. Manjeet, he sliced it, it's up in the air, should be a simple catch, it is, and well, there we go. Manjeet Singh giving a soft dismissal away. He's got to go, he'll be disappointed. He made himself room to really crash it, but just slices an easy catch to the fielder at point.
Good bit of bowling from Neil Charles, flighted it up about half a foot outside off stump, almost the prototype wicket for a left arm orthodox on this bouncy sort of pitch, and Manjeet Singh took the invitation to go big, could only get an outside edge, and it's been cleanly taken by the man at point. That's an important wicket. They have managed to wrest back a little bit of control in these last few overs of Porto Cricket Club, and they will feeling much happier now the Indian Royals are 2 wickets down for 41. And the man, the main man for the Indian Royals, Jasbinder Singh, has arrived at the crease. Big moment in this game. If the Porto boys can get him early, they will be feeling very confident as Charles comes in.
Oh, that gets him fishing. Nice catch taken by Ewan McKay as well. Kept his eye on it and made no mistakes, especially after we saw that one go down from Junaid Khan. Yeah, this is a big partnership, isn't it? If this man can get going, he's playing and missing at the moment outside the off stump. That would be, I think, the best area, his best shot, but maybe just not getting the bounce that he would like. He likes to hit it on the up, doesn't he?
Tell you what, Rico, I'm struggling to concentrate at the moment. Neil Charles is exactly the sort of bowler that used to give me nightmares playing on wet grounds in Hertfordshire in early season England. He's not giving nightmares to the new batsman, though. Jasbinder Singh, too much quality. Gets a full toss outside off stump and drills it over cover. But just that slow, loopy left arm going onto a wet pitch, basically coming through with no pace whatsoever. I found that horrendous to play back in the UK. And as I said, Neil Charles is just giving me shivers just watching him from behind.
Oh dear, oh dear. Have a seat. Have a seat. Anyway, that was a nice shot there at the end there for a boundary. So that takes them 45 for 2 at the halfway point. So at this moment of time, there's no reason, especially with these two batsmen in, with Saad batting really well and Jasbinder just coming in and hitting a boundary, no reason why they couldn't double that and get to a score around 90 like they did in the first match. And this one is hit hard now. Is it a no ball? It's pretty high for me, but what it is 6 runs. Balle, balle, balle. Ginna, Badda, Shaka. That was nice. And well, Mohammed Saheed is definitely the good bunda at the moment.
Well, he's been given an absolute gift. Pramal, who bowled really well in the first game, has struggled with his length in this second. And Mohammed Saad does not need a second invitation as he rocks onto the back foot, punches out to a man at deep cover, scampers through for a relatively easy single, bringing Jasbinder back on strike. But he is striking it cleanly in game 2 tonight, Rico.
Hitting it really well, and what I like about him as well, as we just see this ball from Rajani. Again, he's gone out for the off stump, and he's going to be a straight for, oh, well, I thought that would have been an easy catch there for the fielder, and it looked like he was getting ready to pounce, and then, well, he shied away from it. Can't believe it. A big wicket that would have been.
Well, it would have been a terrible ball to get such a good batsman out with, but Suraj Peswari had a little bit on the back foot. Couldn't take the 3 or 4 steps he needed to have a play at that ball as Pramal comes into side. Drops onto the back foot, can't punish him. Another poor delivery from Pramal, but only the single.
Yeah, only the single. He's got away with them at the moment here. Now, I was saying what I like about Mohammed Saad is not only the shots he's playing, but the way he's running. He's really giving it everything. He's showing 100% commitment. He's charging down. He's putting the pressure on the fielders. He's up for this.
He's absolutely up for this. There is a stunning amount of intent amongst this Indian Royals side. They are determined to leave the ground here tonight with 2 wins and 2 losses. Pramal, he's under pressure now, trying to finish off his spell. Bowling to Saad. Drops short. Saad punches hard onto the offside, but fails to make contact, and Pramal gets away with a dot ball to finish that over. And the left arm spin attack continues. Neil Charles coming back for his second over. The Porto side bowling in pairs as they tended to do in the first game as well.
Yeah, 6 overs gone, 55 for 2. They've probably just gone a little bit behind the rate that they would like to be. Remember, they started off the power play 10 and over. And, well, this is not going to be easier. The man shaking to my right again as this gets bowled by Charles, and that's an interesting leave, isn't it?
He's genuinely left that,
He's
Rico.
left
I don't think he actually thought it was wide. I think he has realistically just thought, I don't want to touch it.
Okay, what's he going to do here? He's got to play some shots to win, but he does like the width, and well, he's absolutely creamed that. That's beautiful. That's big. That's seis carreras. Chuck the fatte. Well, I was having a joke with him yesterday in the boundary, and I was saying to him, tomorrow when you come in, make sure you've eaten those aloo paranthas. Well, मेरा ख्याल aloo parantha खा के आया लगता आज. शक्का मारिया पूरा.
Hasn't it made a difference, that dietary advice that you've given him? And I think he's had to take plenty of advice from you, Rico, given most of the time he's been fielding within about 10 metres of our commentary box. But it's done him the world of good as Jaspinder on strike to Neil Charles. Under pressure. Drops it short. Skids into his pads. Jaspinder happy to get away with a single. Just a single leg bye.
Intelligent bowling from Charles, though, isn't it? I mean, he saw what happened with the ball before, so this time he's whipped it in a bit quicker, angled it into his pads. Now that's clever bowling to Jaspinder because he does tend to back away, doesn't he? He likes to try and give himself space, and when the ball's following, he's not able to get back onto it.
Saheed on strike. Rocks back, hits it high, fielder comes in, can't prevent it, going through for the boundary, came at an awkward bounce level. Unfortunately, it's just hit his upper body and rolled through for a 4, and Mohammad Saad, he is continuing to do damage and helping to set a target that a Porto Cricket Club will feel a lot of difficulty in chasing.
Yeah, Peshwaria is trying to put his body behind that. Did everything to try and stop it, but that just skidded off, and it goes for 4 more runs.
Charles Tassard drops short. That's a Mully grubber that's cleaned him up. Unbelievable scenes. Saad just turning to the umpire saying, what am I supposed to do with that? That is incredibly unfortunate and a sad end to what has been otherwise a very good innings. Mohammad Saad ending up with 27 runs off 18 balls with 3 4s and a 6, and it's a shame to see him leave the field in that fashion.
Yeah, I can see what he was doing. He's looking at the square leg there and saying, surely that's bounced twice and then hit the stumps. In other words, that would be a no ball, but it has to bounce twice before it gets to the batsman's crease. So you saw the second bounce was just before the stump, so unfortunately he has to go.
Good call from the umpire, Rico, and excellent umpiring knowledge contribution from your good self as well.
So, well, with one big man gone, and he did bat very well, I have to say. I liked his innings, and only something like that I thought was going to get him out. This one's been hit big, and it's gone all the way as well. Well, it's not only Jaspinder Singh that's come out eating the paranthas. I think this man who's come in, and we've seen him before, is Jaswinder Kumar. He's eaten them today as well, and I think he's eaten not just the aloo paranthas, Andrew, he's eaten the mooli ones as well, because his bowling was fantastic as well. And then the first ball he's got, he smashed it out of the ground, out of here for 6 runs.
Well, if Sukhwinder Singh is my cult hero within this Indian Royals side, Rico, I think for sure Jaswinder Kumar is the man you've got a big soft spot for. And isn't he bringing some electrifying yet unpredictable cricket to this Portugal T10 contest? And the man coming on trying to stem the flow of runs, number 17, Raghu Rahman. Under pressure, bowling Jaspinder Singh. Jaspinder goes down the pitch, swipes it out to cover. That's going to spin. Difficult for Pramal Rajani to deal with, but he manages to get a hand on and keep it to a single. Jaswinder, what will we have for his second ball? Raghu comes in. Jaspinder probably looking at that leg side. Checks his shot. Well bowled by Raghu. Saw Jaswinder trying to proceed down the crease. Good bowling.
Yes, it's good stuff. It's a good little fight back this as well from Porto. I mean, they're not letting the Indian Royals have it all their own way, but some good shots have been played, and this one's pitched up there. Now that's nice, isn't it? That's a proper, authentic cricket stroke, just down the ground, takes a single, and what he's probably thinking here, I think Jaspinder is saying, look, I know Jaspinder is the man. If he gets going, we could maybe even get to the 100 here. I'm just going to try and give him the strike. But if I get a bad one, I'm going to put away. That one's been drilled hard. Oh, and look at that. That's Henrietta. Henrietta, the Tortuga, the tortoise that I bought with me from Italy. We had to separate Jeffrey and Henrietta Vinny kept Jeffrey up, but Henrietta with me. She's been pretty shy, but she's definitely was in the play there. That was the tortoise bounce.
Stupid on strike. Comes down the pitch. Well bowled again for Ragu. He's come up with a couple of intelligent off-speed deliveries as the Indian Royal batsmen have tried to charge him. It's been a good over so far, and he's somewhat stemmed the bleeding from the last few overs. But he's now got the prospect of Jaswinder Kumar, who is in full flight to face Ragu. Comes in. Spinner goes down the pitch. He's launched that Miles. Call him Mr. Bombastic. Call me fantastic. That is ridiculous hitting and a magnificent strike. Jaswinder Singh.
What a shot this was. Look at this. Oh, I love it. Absolute corker. Middle of the bat, and that's the biggest one of the night so far. This is what it's all about. It's a frenzy of action-packed entertainment, and that, what a way to end that over. So the score now is 83. Sorry, 80, yeah, 83 for 3. We're getting too excited. Look, he's still practicing it as he's walking. And remember, tomorrow night, well, Porto are still here, and, well, they would love to be here, knowing that they've won one game and going into those two, with Gurkha 11 coming back to try and make it 3 wins out of their last 3 games. But at the moment, they're seeing a great bit of play here from the Indian Royals. They're really going to have to be already with this score on the board. They're going to have to be at their very best to get it. But no, not going to have an easy night tomorrow either, are they?
Absolutely not. This is turning into a meaty target for the Indian Royals. Haven't they found some inspiration with the bat, Rico?
Certainly have. They batted well. I know we say this sometimes when we see players, but as a team, they look completely different to the team we saw yesterday. Same players, but just playing completely different. At the moment, we're seeing the bowler struggling with his line there. Anthony Chambers just can't get the ball where he needs to. Wide balls, extras, that's going to hurt them as well. And this is turning out to be a very profitable and good total for the Indian Royals.
Absolutely. Anthony Chambers digs that in short. Third ball, first legal one, and the skipper Pramal Rajani comes in and completes the dismissal. That's the end of Jaswinder Singh. There'll be a man they will be happy to see the back of for those final 2 overs. Chambers started with a pair of wides, but his third ball finally got his location working, and that's a key wicket.
Yeah, it's a key wicket, because when you're looking at just a number of balls to go, it's the big batsman that can hurt you, the big hitters. And once more, not for the first time, Jaswinder just getting himself out on that sort of delivery of ball. He's struggled to put away. He's just not getting himself into the right position. He likes the ball. What I've seen from him so far, you give him width, he's onto it like a flash. But if it's at him, he struggles.
Well, Jaswinder Singh back in the pavilion, dropped it short to Jaswinder Kumar. I'm not sure that's where I'd be bowling to him, but he's only pushed it away for a single. And that brings Ishwar Singh, who we saw a few times last night with the bat. He's come on strike for the first time today. Anthony Chambers, surprising we haven't seen him in the bowling attack today. Bit of chat around the traps that he would have been one of the more likely Porto bowlers. Got a nice action, but it looks like he's almost suffering from the short run-up at the moment, trying to generate a little bit too much pace right at the point of the wicket rather than getting some rhythm in his run-up. It's obviously one of the downsides of the wet here today, yeah. Rico, that the bowlers are being quite conservative with their run-in.
Yeah, if you just watch him when he's bowling, he's moving away as if getting off the pitch as soon as he can. And I think with that, sometimes he's dragging that ball wide outside the off stump. He'd just be better off if he just continues to run towards. If he had a first slip there, that one's short. And what's that taken? He's obviously got a bit of bat onto that, and not enough to do any real damage in terms of the going to the boundary. But they'll take the single.
Could have snuck through a second there, Rico. The 2 fielders, one at backward point and the other one at square leg. A little bit slow to recognise that the keeper was taken out of the game, chasing the pool down to fine leg as Chambers comes in again. Jaswinder drills it back down the pitch, almost ricocheting from the bowler's hand onto the stumps. Could have been a run-out opportunity, but as it is just a single. Yeah,
this is apart from the wides, that's to say, from Anthony Chambers, it's not been particular bad over. I mean, a lot of damage sometimes can be done in the ninth. This is well hit. It depends. They've got to really push, and this is not good running at all. Well, they've been very good with the running. Different batsmen we've seen out there, but that was not good running from Ishwar Singh. You've got to hit the ball well like that, you've got to make it into 2, and he hasn't done. And the other thing there, as far as the Indian Royals are concerned, is that if they had made it 2, then it would have been Kumar who would have been on strike. In the end, Kumar now coming up to this last over is going to be at the non-striker's end.
Well, the Indian Royals now up to 90 with only 4 wickets down. Raghu, who's been one of the tightest bowlers so far for Porto, he's going to take the responsibility of the final over. Will really be looking to keep this total under 3 figures, Rico.
Yeah, I think that's quite key. I think if it gets to the 100, it's certainly going to play mind games. And, well, the light now definitely going, the floodlights on full pelt. Well, he just chipped it up in the air, and he will get a single, so he will get Kumar on strike in the end. And I think Kumar, he's going to go ballistic here. I think from the very first ball he's going to come down the track, and he's going to try and hit this over mid-wicket.
Well, I'll tell you what, he ain't going to be leaving balls outside off stump, Jasbinder style. And he slapped that through the covers. That's an exquisite stroke, showing that his power is not just on the leg side. That's really good batting. Super stuff from Jaswinder Kumar. And hasn't he made a difference to this Indian Royals side tonight?
Yeah, now that's a lovely shot. There's me saying he'll come down the wicket and hit it over leg side. Well, he says, I will come down the wicket, but the ball's on the off. I'm going to hit it on the off. What a lovely shot it was. 4 runs.
Got a really nice relaxed wrist position at the crease. Allows him to generate a significant amount of power driving through the ball. He's taken off. His partner Ishwa really should have been looking to run the second, even if it meant sacrificing himself at the bowler's end. Get Jaswinder back onto the strike. He's a ball of energy and he needs to be unleashed.
Yeah, but that was good from the fielder. He knew that could have been the situation and did go for the throw to the wicketkeeper. And this is why Kumar wanted to get to the other end. He didn't want to be seeing this. He doesn't want to be seeing dot balls. He wants to be facing. He wants to be trying to get the 4 runs needed to get to the 100 mark.
Oh, Rico, the man's 20 off 8. Get him on strike. Raghu, good full ball. Ishwa pops it up. Almost a sacrifice fly in baseball as Junaid comes in and takes the catch without too many dramas. Already, unfortunately, fumbled one earlier today. Raghu doing a good job. When the batsmen have been coming after him, he's managed to drop the ball on a good length, not give them any freebies whatsoever, but he now has the prospect of Jaswinder Kumar back on strike for the remaining part of this over.
Yeah, I mean, the only disappointing thing for the Indian Royals, and certainly for Kumar, is that in this over there's been those 2 dot balls, the one that was played and missed, and that one that's just been caught. Nice catch from Junaid as well. But, well, can Kumar, with his captain, he's coming at the non-strikers end, can he get the required runs to get them to that magical 100? And it's going to be the best, well, it already is the best score so far in this second match in the darkness. And he's had a swing and he's missed it himself.
Well, Rico, my poor boy, Sukhwinder, both games tonight, he's trotted out with 1 ball to go, hasn't managed to face one, ended up 0 of 0 in both contests. And I'm sure as a responsible captain, he'll be very happy that he hasn't been needed out there. But that's not something that happens too often, a batsman ending up 0 of 0 in consecutive games.
No, it certainly doesn't. Good observation from you. But, hey, look, as we see the 2 batsmen, the captain and, well, Kumar make the way off. Kumar's batted really well indeed, even though Kumar did the batting and the captain put the bat up to acknowledge the applause. I like that. But it started well. They really batted really well, very sensibly. I'm very impressed the way that the Indian Royals have come back here. That wicket gain early, it was, of course, Bunpreet going soon, but they just did the job and did it right.
Yep, Armandeep getting cleaned up by an absolute pearler of a ball from Junaid Khan, but he certainly hasn't started this tournament in the way that he would have hoped and the way that many have predicted, and certainly most of you would have had him in your Dream 11 team, but a man who is quickly becoming a must-have in those fantasy squads, Mohammad Saad Ansari, continued to show us today his undoubted power. Probably the cleanest hitter that we've seen in this Portugal T10 competition to date. He had 1 or 2 lives, got lucky on a couple of occasions. Junaid coming in off the long on boundary there and shelling one straight off his chest. But it was this man, Neil Charles, who probably most of the batsmen found harder than a lot of others to pick up easy runs off, and he managed to induce a few false shots. punished there by Jasbinder when he got a bit full, and Jasbinder, he plays so well through that cover region, Rico.
Yeah, that's where he likes to hit the ball. He likes to be given width. But I think pretty soon, a lot of batsmen, as this one was clubbed and hit very, very hard, straight over for a big one as well. But I think a lot of the captains and teams will suss that out about Jasbinder. So he's got to do a little bit of work as well himself. Look, there, he absolutely loves it. Give him width and he is going to punish you. Big shot. But when you watch when he was out, the ball gets close to him, he gets into trouble. And, well, this man here, that was unfortunate. A great effort from the fielder. But the ball eluding him, sliding in, trying to stop it. It was Peshwaria. In the end, well, what can you do about that? We was talking, weren't we? How are you going to get this man out? He was in such good form. Well, he gets out in the most unusual fashion. But that's not the first time we're going to see that, and not the last. And I'm pretty sure this is not the first time or the last time we're going to see the big Maximos. He played that beautifully, got down on one knee and sent it packing.
Well, I think my nickname for him, Mr. Boombastic, is pretty appropriate, Rico. The ball absolutely cannons off his bat. He is some cricketer, Jaswinder Singh. He's unpredictable at times with both bat and ball, but he's an absolute monster of a player to watch, and looking forward to seeing what he can deliver with the ball later tonight. But they will have to be very, very happy, Indian Royals, after major struggles with the bat last night, to be able to go through both games scoring in excess of 90, and in this particular contest they have put 96 for 5 on the board from their 10 overs. Just a quick roll through their impressive batting scorecard. They opened up again with Amandeep Seep and Mohammad Saad. Not quite the same success as yesterday, but they did put on a 27-run opening partnership within the power play. Amandeep eventually bowled by massive in-swinger from Junaid Khan. He was out for 9 off 11 with 1-4. Mohammad Saad, incredibly lucky to be dismissed by a half-tracker from Neil Charles. He was gone for 27 off 18, 3 4s and 6s in a very well compiled innings. Manjit Singh didn't trouble the scorers too much. He was out for 1 off 4 after bowling Neil Charles. Jasbinder Singh continues what's been a pretty consistent tournament for him to date. He was eventually caught by Pramal off the bowling of Anthony Chambers for 16 off 12. Jaswinder Kumar ignited the innings through the latter stages. He was not out for 20 off 9, 1 4 and 2 6s. Ishwar came at the end, probably didn't hustle between the wickets as his teammates might have hoped. Boy, he was eventually caught by Junaid off the bowling of Raghu, who was very impressive with the ball for Porto. And as we said, Sukhwinder Singh managing to participate in the batting innings for the second consecutive game without having to bother face a ball. He was 0 of 0, Rico. What does the bowling analysis look like?
Well, you mentioned Neil Charles, that when you used to go out to bat, he used to make you shiver. Well, when I used to play, a bowler like him used to come on the bowl, it really used to wind me up, because I'll be running in and bending my back and throwing the ball down, and would get nothing, and then would come in a bowler like Neil Charles and just toss the ball up and end up with a stat loads of wickets. But there's an art to it. It's a lot of thinking's got to be done. You've got to have the fielders in the right place, and well, credit to him, he bowled very well again here. Bowled his 2 overs for 22. You're going to get a little bit of tap. He didn't get too much tap there, and got 2 wickets as well, so well bowled. Junaid Khan struggled with his line earlier, too many extras I think, but still just 12 runs from 2, and we always say that in this T10 format, which is really, a lot of people still believe it heavily favours the batting side. If you can bowl your 2 overs and keep it under 21s, you've done well. Well, he certainly did that very well. Zinkas as well struggled with his line. He only bowled just the 1 over, probably deciding after discussing with his captain Pramod Rajani that he didn't fancy coming back on. He couldn't get the ball to go where he wanted to. Good spell from Rahman, I think he was good. 1 wicket, 2 overs for 17. And Chambers as well bowled pretty tidily. He just bowled the 1 over. 1 over, 7 runs, but he did get the 1 wicket. So really, the only expensive man there for me would have been well, John Zinkas, just the 1 over for 10. He was spraying it around a little bit all over the place. But in the context of this match, well, I think the Indian Royals will be very happy. They'll be very pleased with what they've achieved here. They've put a good score on the board, and it's the second highest score that we've seen being put up in this second match in the evening, which is difficult to score runs on. Gurkha's made a 104 5 in their second match in the evening. So this is going to be a very challenging prospect now for Porto, who, having lost the first match, will want to be coming back strong. But anyway, we're going to take a very short break now before we come back for the reply from Porto. Can they get a win on the board? We know that the Indian Royals, after losing 2 matches yesterday, have come back with a bang. They won the first in this contest between these two. Now they've put 96 on the board, so Porto need 97 to win. I'm Rico Full, joined by Andrew Ryan, and we should be back in a couple of minutes' time to take you through the second innings.
Welcome back, fans of European Cricket T10. Boom, boom action here to the Miranda de Corvo Stadium for the final innings of our doubleheader here tonight in the Portugal T10, brought to you by FanCode. We have the Indian Royals putting on a significant total of 96 runs from their 10 overs, and the Porto openers have come out and they have a big job on their hands to date. Once again, they have sent out John Zinkas to face the first ball, and he's joined by Anthony Chambers, and the man of the moment, Jaswinder Kumar, is going to steam in to bowl the first ball. I know Rico's excited, so am I. What is he going to do, Rico?
Well, he'll be wanting to do exactly what he was doing last time, getting the ball just floating up there around the off and middle stump, pitched up. He dragged a few down the leg side. Well, maybe after the 2 overs he's already bowled today, he can eliminate that out of his game. Well, he can, but he can't eliminate the one that goes very wide outside the off stump. So this time he's just readjusting too much. And the balls that I'm interested in are the ones that he just lets float out of his hands. Doesn't seem to push them through. Just lets that kookaburra go up there and do the job. And not so much movement. It's just the pace is deceiving. He deceives the batsman.
Well, he gets that one.
There we go.
Right on the stumps. He's a bit of a highlights package player, isn't he, Rico? If you just saw the best of Jaswinder, you think he's one of the best players to pull on a strip to play in a European Cricket Network tournament. Unfortunately, there's a few wides and no balls that are scattered in between, but he has been a huge inclusion for the Royals tonight as he comes in to bowl to Chambers. Had a tough first game. Tries to cut that, but straight into the ground. But it's going to be a single, and they really need to keep rocking the singles during this early part of the innings. If they can't get the boundaries, they'll be looking to Zinkas to up that run rate as much as possible. He's particularly strong when pulling to the leg side, but Jaswinder Singh, he had the golden arm in game 1. what's going through his head at the moment. Probably just, if I can bowl straight, I will have success. That one's curled a little bit late. The umpire's still stuck the arms out for the wide call as keeper fumbles it again and Chambers rolls through. Keeper Manjit Singh this evening.
Yeah, that one, he's getting this one to move the other way away from the batsman, whereas in the first match, most of the wickets he took was the ball that was coming in. So he's obviously clearly able to get it to do both. Let's see what he does with this. Oh, he's got that one down the leg. That's the one I think he tries to get on the off and coming in and getting through the gap. Gets it wrong a few times.
He's got a fair way to go to have that ball go through the gap, Rico. That's about 1.5 metres down leg side.
Yeah, that was. He's got some adjustments to make, we should say.
Just giving the ball a quick wipe. It's still relatively moist here at the Miranda de Corvo Stadium. Plenty of rain early on, but fortunately we've got a break in the weather over the last couple of hours and has allowed these 2 games to go ahead tonight. Big effort from the players again, though. It's certainly not optimal conditions for cricket, but they have put on an excellent show for us here in this Coimbra T10, brought to you by FanCode.
It's Kumar. What can he do here as he comes through? And this one again, it's going to be a wide ball. It's down the leg side. I tell you what, Andrew, how quickly the light's just gone.
The light's disappeared.
It's just absolutely gone. Boom. And now it's all, well, now it's the, what we say, the Nuit de Fiesta. This is now the Fiesta time. We're in darkness here if it weren't for these floodlights.
Just when it comes in, it's a decent length ball. Chambers tries to force. Can't get the single. Not sure if you viewers have seen it too much on the coverage, but it's quite a spooky setting here at Miranda de Corvo. There's a lot of low-lying cloud in the high trees and the hills that surround this ground. It's a magnificent setting. But it really does give it an eerie atmosphere, doesn't it, Rico?
Yeah, it does. And pretty soon, as we did yesterday, you start to see all of the insects, the crickets especially, making their noises. And we start to see some of the ruffling in the forest behind us. And we can see eyes looking at us. We don't know what they are. In fact, Bruno Diesel himself was telling us that there's a lot of wild boar in these woods, so well, I suppose there needs to be. The wolves have to eat something, and that's very wide as well. They've got to be careful here. They've done a good job with the bat, and this man who's doing the bowling, he was part of that. But you can't be throwing that hard work away by being sloppy in the fielding and bowling. They've got to get it right. They've got to make the batsman play and got to stop giving away these extras.
Well, only 4 runs off the bat so far in this over, yet it's been a relatively profitable one. Jaswinder must be feeling fairly exhausted after going through a succession of wides. That one skidded through, unfortunately. Manjeet unable to glove it, but really no fault of the keeper. That's more the pitch playing some troubles, although it did help out the Oporto side with the ball. We saw Neil Charles manage to dismiss the ever-present force of Mohammad Saad Ansari in that first innings by one that pitched halfway and probably got up a good 5 centimetres off the ground. So anyone who thinks that these artificial pitches produce standard ball bounces and standard play has clearly never come out to the Miranda de Corvo Stadium to play. This pitch has certainly a few tricks in it, and it's adding a really, really interesting aspect to these T10 games. I think a bit of unpredictability on an artificial pitch is a really, really good thing. Keeps the batsman honest.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Mohammad Saad now. He's coming on the bowl. Now, he was blowing hot and cold for me with the ball. When he was bending his back, he was useful. But then every so often, he was bowling too many down the leg side, too many extras. That, for me, is what he needs to be bowling. He just a couple of steps and bends his back, and he zings the ball in, and he's pretty productive that way. But every so often, he'll change to just trying to loft the ball in, whether he's trying to bowl a slower one or not, but he gets it all wrong. He needs to make sure that he's spot on and on target. He's had a good match so far. In fact, he's had a good day so far.
He's had a good pair of days, to be fair, Rico. As that one goes through at some reasonably rapid pace, considering he's only coming off about 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah, I mean, the first over, 10 runs, and that's all Porto need to do. Keep going at 10 and over, and they've got this victory.
Just noting the outfielders at the moment, we've got Jaspinder standing down here in long off territory as he's basically taken up permanent residence over the last 2 nights. Rico, I'm sure he's thoroughly enjoyed listening to our commentary over the last couple of hours, and they've also got a man who's been at deep mid-wicket, although they seem to be bringing him in for Chambers and putting a fielder out to what looks like a slightly forward of point on the boundary. He's cleaned up. Mohammad Saad Ansari comes up with a ripper of a Yorker. Chambers gets cleaned up for the second time today, and a man with his techniques got to be pretty frustrated with that, but that is a corker Yorker if I've ever seen one.
Delightful delivery. I was saying about Mohammad Saeed, he was, well, hot and cold. Well, this was hot, this was spicy, this was peary, knocking him over. And that's the way you got to do it. That castle has been knocked out of the ground. And Chambers, it's a long walk back, as you say. It's the second time he's seen his castle raided. And Mohammad Saad continuing a great night's work, and as you said, Andrew, it was pretty impressive yesterday as well. One of the few players that worked, but today has been much more of a team effort, and they know that a couple of more wickets here and they're in with a shot. That's a nice looking shot. It was pitched up, he took a risk. Ball comes through at good speed as well, and well picked up by Manjeet Singh, the wicketkeeper.
So in terms of peri peri spice, Rico, if we're going by the Nando's sauce rating, would you have suggested that that last delivery from Mohammad Saad Ansari was in the hot or the extra hot range?
Well, let's see where this ball ends up first. I don't think it quite goes to the boundary, and the teammates can't believe it. It's 2 runs. I think that one, yeah, that's got to be. What's the scale?
Well, we go from plainish to medium to hot to extra hot. Also herb, but I'm not sure that's really relevant.
No, we'll say that was hot. That was peri hot, that for sure. Yeah, of course, if you're wondering what we're talking about, peri, it all originated here in Portugal. I know a lot of people won't believe that, but we already had a number of people asking us about the peri. Have we had it yet? We haven't, but it's certainly, I'm not leaving Portugal without having some of that marvellous peri chicken.
Oh, it's amazing. One of the many contributions to the cultural and culinary features of this wonderful part of the world here in Portugal. As Rico's already talked about, he and both of us actually are very big fans of the pastel de nata tarts that we've had every morning, and certainly for anyone who's staying at the Park Serra in the next couple of days, Rico profusely apologises for the fact that I think he's eaten them completely out of pastel de natas. Some would say that taking 3 per breakfast is possibly a little bit selfish, but
just give them to me. I don't ask for 3. Honestly, I don't. You just get the one, don't you? You get the one little one. I get 3. I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe they think I need calorie reduction more than you do. One always just feels like never enough. I try to consume it in 3 different bites, but I never get past 2. They're relatively small pastel de natas for anyone who is familiar with the food from this part of the world, but boy, do they taste good. As Saheed coming into bowl, saw him generate some heat in the first game, and he's ripped the one past the off stump of John Zinkers. Zinkers been joined at the crease by Junaid Khan. 2 men who had plenty of experience playing in the T10 tournament at Katasho last year. They are probably the best geared up Porto batsmen to try to knock off a large portion of this total. Zinkers just failing to find his rhythm in this innings so far. They're keeping a distinct outside off stump line to him. Good strategy. Charges down, just drills that straight. Can't time it particularly well, and he's just going to get a single.
Yeah, nicely played. I'm just looking at this field. I think it's the right field to have at the moment. Not over-committing in attacking format, but not too defensive either. They know that they still want to take a few more wickets. They're not electing to put everybody on the ring. Remember, 1 more over, and they can spread the field more. This one is trying to get it through that gap. It's well struck. They should be looking to comfort 2. They're taking it on, or are they not? No, that's a good call in the end from the batsman that got to the striker, saying they had a look, turned around and thought, no, we're not going to take that chance. And wise call.
Well, Rick, I know there's plenty of action happening on the cricket field, but we've got an information red alert on the YouTube chat.
Do we?
Steve McVeigh has just alerted me to the fact that there is a larger version of the pastel donata called the tart donata. It is a thicker pastry with a similar filling. Oh, I was about to say that is a game changer for my diet, but that is a game changer for this game. John Zinkas has rocked onto the back foot, probably had every right to do so, but the ball has shot through and cleaned him up. That's a big wicket for Saheed and well deserved.
Yeah, I mean, you can see straight away he's played the shot and the head goes down because he's thinking, come on, that had to bounce a little bit more than that. He's disappointed. Well, think about the wicket that got out Mohamed Saad, how low that stayed. It wasn't as low as that, but I think he just looks a little bit out of sort. Now, maybe they'll do the same thing that we've seen the team Indian Royals do. They'll have a think about what's happening here today. This match is by no means over. Anything can happen, but they've got to go back to the drawing board and come out just maybe thinking a little bit about the shot selection, because that's definitely what the Indian Royals have done. They've thought about the shot selection in the 2 games yesterday, come out here and decided the one thing we didn't do was run. We didn't take the singles, and they've done that anyway. Talk to me about this tart.
Well, the tart donata has the big swing from Junaid. It's gone miles in the air. Jasbinder Singh, one of the best fielders from the Indian Royals, has shelled it. Admittedly not an easy catch at any time under these lights, but had they managed to take Junaid Khan out at that stage, that may have been curtains for Oporto. How crucial will that drop be?
Well, we know Junaid Khan, he can bat well. That's clever bowling. He's taken the pace right off that.
That's excellent bowling from Saad. It's a nice change-up, but not sure that was the response that Junaid needed to come out with. We saw him bowled swiping across the line in the first game, and he's just lost the premier batsman from the side, John Zinkas. He decides to launch the next one for 6. Oh, there's another clean bowl. That's unbelievable. How many times have we seen the base of the stumps over the course of these 2 games? Pramal Rajani just playing all around, which was straight and full ball from Mohamed San Ansari, and this is turning pear-shaped very quickly for Oporto.
Yeah, now look, that was his first ball as well. The captain, it's been done by a beauty from Mohamed Saad, and they needed him there. And like you said, Junaid Khan doesn't look like he wants to hang around. He's going for the big shot. Could have gone himself. First ball for the second time in this night. He was going for a first baller, played a horrendous shot, and then, well, the man you would have put money on, Jasbinder Singh, putting the catch down. But look, they've just got to think about this a little bit more. I think they're trying to do what a lot of teams have done here at the beginning. They thought about T10, thought about you've got to hit the big shot, and forgetting about doing the basic things.
It's 60 balls, Rico. It's still a long time in a game of cricket.
Yeah.
And preferably long enough for us to continue this discussion about tart donatas. I'll finish it off by saying if there are any bakeries within Portugal that are listening to the coverage tonight, then feel free to send Rico and I a collection of both tart donatas and pastel donatas to consumers. There's an appeal from behind the wicket. I'm not sure what they thought the umpire was going to put his finger up for there. But anyway, care of Rico and Andrew at the Miranda de Corvo ground, then we'd gladly give them some taste testing on air and come back with our highly developed culinary feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. That's up in there. Well, that's an interesting shot. We'll take the finger. Yeah, and if you listen, they are just so good, crispy, creamy, and sweet, and there's nothing like it, these pastillas de nata. But now that we know there's a tarta, well, we should be looking out for those. Look, we haven't just got a sweet tooth. I mean, many people will know that I like my parontas, and parontas, they're the spice. But well, you cannot not have these pastels. They're absolutely delightful. And we were talking about a few other names that they have from this Barrigas de Freire. That's the nun's belly. Then there was, of course, the angel's double chin, Papos de Anajo, and there was one more as well. What was the other one? Oh, the fat from heaven, Tocino de Ciu. Well, that's what they referred to. Well, they are naughty, but they're very nice.
Well, we had a bit of Shaggy with Mr. Bombastic earlier in the night. We might have, girl, you're my angel, double chin, my angel. The Angel's double chin is one of the discoveries of this tournament, Rico. That is just still the most magnificent name for a food I have ever come across.
Well, back to the action here, and well, there's no change, and why should there be? Saheed Naki, he bowled really well. He's back on to, well, pile on the pressure, and at the moment, pile on the misery for the Porto Cricket Club. They need something to happen here, and well, they've got two batsmen that can make it happen, but after that, they're going to really be digging deep.
Well, Junaid's got to try to take the majority of the strike and has got to hit hard and hit well in the coming balls. Looks like they're just going to get a single. Indeed, coming in from the mid-wicket boundary. But we saw the mid to lower order from Porto struggle in the first game. Suraj Peshwaria, he's got to try to take singles as much as possible and get Junaid back on strike. But either way, they have a mountain of work to do to get Porto back into this game. Saeed bowling really well again, Rico. We talked about how strong his action is in the first game. Not a particularly tall man, but he does send it down with a lot of force and on cue for the first time this week, not taking the commentator's curse. He has slammed into the stumps of Suraj Peshwaria. I think Peshwaria was about 10 minutes behind the speed of that delivery. Super bowling again from Saeed, and the Indian Royals are on fire.
They certainly are on fire. Well, we're talking about them probably having plenty of parontas, aloo and muli. Well, I think they've had a little bit of piri-piri as well, because they are on fire and they're knocking these stumps over at random. And once more, they're not relying on anything else. They're just bowling everybody.
Well, given their catching has been somewhat ropey at times, it's probably a reasonable strategy. But the Porto side just continuing to heave across the line. I know they're chasing a big target, but surely if they had been watching games from earlier in the tournament, that is not the way forward for consistent run scoring, and they are in a big hole.
Yeah, they are indeed. And, well, you were saying earlier that we might have to get Maxi Baby to check on the record of bowled victims. And there's another one right on cue. This is incredible. What's going on out there? Look at this one. This was a delightful delivery, knocking the timber over once more. It's all junk there. That's what's happening out there. And these boys, well, they've had their parontas. Paronte takaki. Dekho, pronta paura, aluga muli, dasomeno, bang, bang. Another one bites the dust.
Oh, good nut, really good nut. That would have taken out a number of top order batsmen. Don't you worry about that. That is super bowling from Saeed. And once again, great to see a man following up some praise on the commentary with a couple of absolute pearlers. Well done, young man. You are soon going into my number 2 list for cult hero of this Indian Royal side, behind Sukhwinder Singh.
Well, Maxi Baby, if you're out there, maybe you can tell us the bold victims in an innings. Well, we're talking about this team that we saw them do it in the first, and now they're coming back and doing it in this second match as well. Just look at that scorecard so far. We've got Zinkas was bowled by Naki, then Anthony Chambers bowled by Saad. Then we had Regani. He went for his first ball. It was Mohamed Saad once more there. And then the next bowl victim was Naki. He got Peshwaria. And, well, then we've just seen that last one there as well. It's just incredible bowling. And under difficult circumstances. This is the other thing. This ball is wet.
Very true, Rico, as Saeed steams in again. He's actually generating more pace now than he was in the first game. Even the keeper can't deal with it. He's rocketing through at such pace, and that's going to be 4 byes, but the bowler has clearly done his job again. A good ball outside off stump. This is some appetising bowling, Rico, which gives us an excuse to go back to the YouTube chat, back to our culinary discussion. And Steve McVeigh has referenced, wait till you try the chocolate salami, which I can say from experience is another wonderful contribution to the food scene by the Portuguese. On my trips to Lisbon back in the day, would generally always stop into one of the wonderful bakeries in the city centre there and pick up this, which is a slightly, I guess it's a sticky, biscuity type construction, which really does look like actually a chocolate salami. The name does what it says on the tin. But anyone who comes out, particularly the Lisbon way, there's a number of brilliant producers of that product, and you know, it's not going to do anything to the waistline. It's not a health food by any stretch, but it is very, very tasty. So thank you for the recommendation on that, Steve. Good memories. I'll try to stay away from purchasing one of those before I leave, but I'm not sure how much my willpower will stand it.
Chocolate salami. That's for real then. I mean, that's one thing that I haven't come across, even in the little bit of research I do. So yeah, that's something interesting. Interesting also is Amandeep Singh coming onto bowl, starts with one outside the off stump, and the wicketkeeper not able to take this one cleanly. And well, where's this match heading? Well, halfway point. It's 30. It was 30 for 5. That's 31 now with that extra. They've at about 13 required per over. So really, something special is going to start to happen here.
Well, don't tell me, but I thought Junaid was in risk of breaking the double-figure ceiling with that shot, but it's only gone for a single. He's now moved his way up to 9 off 10 deliveries and is single-handedly holding this chase together. He is getting no support whatsoever from the rest of the Oporto Cricket Club team as Amandeep pushes that one slightly down the leg side. It's a uphill battle, to say the least, from this part. Kanaka Sabapathy, the wicketkeeper, coming in to join Junaid. Big job. Steps across, swings that down the leg side. Junaid hustles through for the singles. Direct hit. The umpire's asked the question. He shakes the head and says, absolutely not. And they swing through for a bye. I think the batsman, Kanaka, asking the umpire why, if it was a bye, it wasn't a leg side. I'm not sure if he's a judge that ball actually carried over the top of the stumps since the batsman moved across the fairway.
Yeah, interesting call from the umpire. Certainly, for me, it looked like a good, straightforward wide ball, but the umpire may have decided that it did actually go over the leg stump. We're, of course, looking at it from a different angle. But just to let viewers know, we don't just talk about food. We're not just interested in the beautiful culinary delights of Portugal. So another thing about Portugal a lot of people don't know, it's one of the oldest nations in Europe. Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, is also the oldest city by centuries in Western Europe. And other countries and cities such as London, Paris and Rome don't even compare. So I certainly was surprised to learn that. I thought Rome would have been older, but that's not the case. So that's something else, the fact that I found out while looking into the history of this beautiful country.
No one could accuse you of not doing your homework, Rico. You've come out with some marvellous facts across the nights we have had. I think this is our 5th night here in Portugal this evening.
Yeah.
It's 5th of 23 consecutive nights of cricket here at the Miranda de Corvo Stadium, and we have seen more than enough action to fill a month in the 5 nights that we've had already, but there is plenty more to go.
It's been splendid, and you know what the other good thing is going to be? I mean, we've had a couple of wet days. I think tomorrow the forecast may be a little bit similar today, but it may clear earlier than it did today. But then after that, I think we're going to be partying in the sunshine as well. Well, it's not going to be quite the sunshine. I should say partying in the warmth. It'll be a lot warmer. And well, maybe some of those creepy crawlies will come out again. That's a big swing across the line, and well, the finger has gone up. We'll have a look at this again. The batsman, he seems to be rubbing. Well, he seems to be rubbing his chest. Let's have a look at this again. And of course, who would it be? It can only be, oh man, the captain. Look, first ball. Well, that for me is a bit naughty. I think that's pitching outside the leg stump. What do you think, Andrew?
Oh, only a foot or so.
One more time.
Yeah, I think Sinead's probably got a reason to feel slightly aggrieved about that. But my most disappointing aspect of that is not the umpire's decision. It's the fact that my man Sukwinda has spoiled what was once again a perfectly clean batting card with nothing but bold up until that point. And he has to come along and pick up an LBW. Sukwinda, I am disappointed in you, sir.
Well, I'm sure we'll have words with you later. Sukhwinder Singh, the captain, and I've been very impressed. We both have been very impressed with Sukhwinder. He's a thinking captain, thinks about what he's doing. He had a lot to think about yesterday. Things weren't going his team's way.
Well, it seems on the chat that Steve McVeigh, who's been a great contributor to our chat tonight, given plenty of local information and a great contribution to him, full stop. He's probably agreed with our assessment of that one, just being a tickle outside leg stump, and may have been enough doubt for the batsman, but such is life.
Just a tickle. But anyway, back to the action, and this one's been dragged down the leg as well, and this is just all tiki-taka, has been for a while. It's been a very impressive comeback from the Indian Royals, led by the captain here. He's rallied his troops.
He's got a fairly dark pair of gloves on, Neil Charles. There was at one moment that I actually wondered whether or not he'd gone out there to bat barehanded, but as it is, he's definitely got some protection on the hands, but it is quite deceiving.
Good try. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just having yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm just seeing that through the monitor here.
Just reminded me actually seeing Charles out there in his resplendent lemon yellow top as compared to the slight difference to the rest of the team. There was a comment on the YouTube feed in the first game about Porto looking like the Star Trek crew, which admittedly I didn't mention at the time because I'd started to snort when I read it, but I thought that was a great call, and I can't remember who it was, but congratulations for that contribution. That was a superb bit of chat.
Here he goes, Sukhwinder Singh once more, and well, he gets that one to pop up a little bit.
Sukhwinder continues to just cause trouble with these innocuous left arm spinners. Once he pops it up and gets it on or about off stump and just a little bit of nibble away from the batsman, just continually confounds them. And probably in particular the middle to late order batsmen who are looking to hit hard over the leg side. They find Sukhwinder a really, really difficult customer to deal with.
Yes, he's, nobody's really taking him on, had they? I mean, okay, when he's bowled the one, the Gandhi ball, if you like, halfway down the track, he's been punished. We saw that yesterday. We saw, I think, Conrad Greenchill's hitting for a big one yesterday. But when he gets the ball right, and I think because of being the left armour and the way he bowls it, it's difficult to get away. And just to remind you, we've talked about the brilliant final there in Milan today. But Italy, the road show continues. They're on the road once more. The team in blue, the Blue Army, they're off to Brescia. So day 1 of 6 starting there, and it's starting slightly different time, so it's at 9 Central European time in the morning, and there's going to be 5 teams involved in Brescia, so look out for that. You're spoiled for European cricket action, those 4 matches in the day, and then it's the fiesta time in the night with Rico and Andrew. We're certainly loving it. We're loving that you're there with us, and thank you to everybody that's been on the chat and sharing all your views and opinions with us. We're here because you're there, and we're loving every moment of it.
Geez, we end up in some salubrious venues throughout the European continent. Oh, that's pinned him back. Surely that's a good shout from Armandeep. Neil Charles given the benefit of the doubt. Prototype dismissal, possibly heading down leg stump. We'll give the umpire the benefit of the doubt on that occasion as Charles gets one off the inside edge of his bat and takes a cheeky single. But some wonderful venues that we get to travel around with the travelling circus that is the European Cricket Network. Some of the most beautiful cities throughout Italy, and Rome and Venice and Bologna, now Brescia next week, and us getting the absolute privilege of hanging around for a succession of weeks in the Coimbra region of Portugal, and here in the lovely little town of Miranda de Corvo. And I think, Rico, you discovered what the name Miranda de Corvo actually means earlier today, didn't you?
I certainly did, and I was totally surprised because I thought that Miranda, because Miranda's translate basically to view or look out. And look out for those. That's what we like to see. There's those flashy bails as the ball comes in. A direct hit, but no danger for the non-striking batsman who was in his crease. But I thought it was all to do with the old Coimbra Castle. And Miranda was the view. And there's an appeal here, and the finger has to go up. Well, pretty soon it was going to. I think he got lucky the first time, and umpire Bucks the first time round said, nah, let him off, but not this time. This time there was a little bit of Bucks fizz involved, and that finger went straight up, right in front, going across the line. We'll see that here again. And, well, he's a big lad, isn't he? Charles, we just saw him go past Sukhinder Singh, and Sukhinder Singh next to Charles was
small.
Dwarfed. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, he's got to go that time. And the only thing that would have saved him is if the ball was possibly going to go on to miss the leg stump. I think Charles himself knew that he was right in front.
I think Charles almost walked himself. He felt that he was that plumb, and that's a good bit of bowling from Amandeep. And the aforementioned Sukhinder Singh coming on for his second over. And also some interest in these late overs, actually. We're getting to see young Adam Mackay go out there to bat. We've had a few people on the YouTube chat and also a little bit of the yarn around the ground here talk about him as a future young talent for Portuguese cricket. So very excited to see what he can deliver in these remaining 2 overs.
Yeah, it'd be nice for him to get a few runs for himself, just get the feel-good factor. But going back to Miranda de Corva, it actually doesn't translate to like keeping watch or the watchtower. It translates to Miranda de Corvo. Corvo means crows. Watch out for the crows.
Well, throw goes down the keeper's end. May have been the better play to come to the bowler's end, where Mackay was possibly going to be struggling to take his ground, but the big arm of Saheed hurls it down to the keeper, and they run a safe 2.
So you know what that means. When we finally find where these darts are, these tarts, they're pastel, we need to watch out for the crows, because obviously that's what it's all about. The crows come and take your goodies from you. They can be vicious crows.
They can be. And interestingly, in the biological park that just sits behind the Park Sarah Hotel where we're based here in Miranda de Corvo, actually one of the birding, or they have several bird enclosures and looking after birds that have been brought in for nursing because of injury or other level of distress. And they actually have a pair of crows that are in one of the enclosures. I don't think I've ever come across a zoo that has promoted crows as a creature to come and have a look at. But surprisingly, they have a bad reputation, but they're actually quite beautiful creatures close up. And admittedly, given I was hanging out by myself at the zoo, I sat there and chatted to the pair of them for a little bit. Didn't get a huge amount of interaction back, but they certainly didn't seem angry by my presence, which was a lovely development.
And seeing if you can get a few more wickets here, the captain. So, Andrew, obviously this match has been completely one-sided with those early wickets going, and some very good bowling again from the Indian Royals. So, Porto, what do they need to do when they go away from here tonight? What's the team talk going to be about?
Well, the team talk has got to be about the top order just being more solid and more disciplined in the way they play. We see the big change from the Indian Royals between day 1 and day 2 of their tournament has been the way they've gone about collecting their runs. They have discontinued swiping across the line at everything. They have taken singles where they're on offer. They have forced through the covers and through the point area when it's been short or when it's been too full, and that is how they've collected their runs. And they've just taken the odd ball over the leg side boundary when it's been offered. And I think Porto could take a lot away from the way that they've approached their games between night 1 and night 2. So they're a better side than they've put on tonight.
Yeah.
Porto, they have a couple of players here. We haven't seen the best of Junaid Khan. He'll be better for the run tonight. I think Premal looked to be a really clean striker. Didn't get going in this second game. I still think they've got much to offer in this tournament.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think this is just a case of exactly the same as what Indian Royals have been through. They've turned up to the party. They've got used to the pitch. They've got used to the outfield. They've got used to the field bat onto ball. And after having called this the dress rehearsal for Porto. They'll be back tomorrow, stronger and a lot better side. I'm sure of it.
Actually, and speaking of Porto, a great shout out on the YouTube chat from Harriet Mackay saying, "Come on, Adam, you got this." Well, Harriet, we can guarantee that Adam is doing his level best out there and looks very comfortable in the company of some of the best players in the country. So keep going well, son. You're pushing ahead and showing us the quality of the young players here in Porto, as that one is actually snuck away for a very rare boundary. So that's good to see the Porto team being taken slightly closer towards the total by Kanaka Sabapathi, but just reverting back to the YouTube chat, and it's an interesting one for you, Rico, given you have seen a number of grounds. There's a question from Kerno657 on the YouTube chat saying, or asking, will our commentary team be arriving in Brescia in style? I see the cricket ground has its own helipad.
Really? Is that for sure?
I would never allege that Mr. Max, as we see Kanaka loft one up top, just had the drops tonight. He's fumbled again as Adam Mackay comes and charges through for the second. But I could genuinely see Mr. Maximo in his royal blue European Cricket Network jacket turning up, jumping out of the flapping wind of the helicopter as he's being transported into the ground with the local lifestyle trophy. Does that sound about right?
It sounds about right. Let's just see this ball from Kuhn, because you've got something in my mind now as that one's gone through. Yeah, you could see him, couldn't you? As the helicopter lands and he comes out when he does his intro. You know, comes out the helicopter. Maybe he should be wearing his red suit with those the red shoes. He loves his shoes, does Maxi. Helicopter lands, comes out and says, "Welcome to the FanCode European Cricket Series here in Brescia." It all starts here and right now. And you know what? Even with the propellers going to the helicopter, you still hear him.
I think that would be a brilliant introduction and certainly very appropriate for a tournament of that magnitude. I think the big question is, do Bizaway do helicopter transfers rather than the traditional flights? But as we've just been observing the transport arrangements for Brescia, this match has come to a conclusion. Good work from the lower order from Porto, at least taking them through the end of the 10 overs they've been allotted in this Portugal T10 competition, although ultimately unsuccessful in this chase and losing by quite a substantial margin. It's failing by 39 runs, which will certainly not give them a great deal of confidence. And how many times were they cleaned up with the bat tonight, Rico?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be all about not having enough cricket to play, not being in the nets, and not getting bat onto ball. You can see a lot of the times the batsmen just getting in the wrong areas, but you have to give credit, as we keep saying, to the Indian Royals. They bowled very, very well. They certainly, most of the bowlers had their radar spot on, hitting the stumps time after time. And all of them, you can't really look at any of those bowlers tonight and say, look, you let your side down. Look at this bowling, just wicket to wicket bowling. And well, Porto had nothing to offer. But like we were saying, they need to go back. They need to regroup. They need to pick themselves up because they're down. But they've got to come back fighting tomorrow.
Well, and they've got a big task tomorrow night, Rico. The Gorka 11, who are probably on the top line of favouritism with Marlow Cricket Club for this Portugal T10 event. They are going to be a big challenge for a Porto Cricket Club. But we have seen it consistently through this tournament, haven't we? That teams have come out, struggled somewhat on their first pair of games, but games 3 and 4 on the second consecutive night, they have made a world of difference just by being more familiar with the conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. You couldn't have put that any better. There is a huge difference out there. Whether it's just down to the moisture or whether it's down to the ball, maybe doing a little bit more from the bowlers. But I have to say that I don't think in terms of the Indian Royals bowling, I mean, some teams you see bowl, I think when you saw Marlow using the ball really well, all of their bowlers did use good amount of swing from the ball. I think the Indian Royals just bowled a 9 straight line. Most of those deliveries were just spot on, bang on, wicket to wicket. They got the line right. I don't think the ball did too much. I think it was just bad technique from rusty Porto batsmen. They just haven't had much match practice, but they'll be much better and I think much stronger after being out there and knowing what the conditions are like. But Gurkha, I think they really did look the part. Look, they did get beaten eventually, didn't they, in their fourth match, didn't they? But they were looking to make it 4 out of 4, but they're going to want to come back with a bang as well.
Absolutely. Before we get on tomorrow night, Rico, what do you think? Are the Indian Royals on? Are they capable of toppling those top teams on the basis of what we've seen today?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at the teams that have done well, Gurkha and also Marlow, and we've been talking about the Royals, and also don't forget Owaris as well yesterday. I think all of the teams so far are well balanced in the fact that they all are good with the bowling. I think they all have good bowlers, they have good fielders, and they all seem to be relying on 3 or 4 batsmen. So it's going to be interesting.
Speaking of batsmen, we will have a look through the relatively depressing batting card of a Porto Cricket Club. John Zinkas and Anthony Chambers opened up again, and for the second time in succession, both were cleaned up by the new ball bowlers. John Zinkas out for 5 off 7. Clean bowled by Saeed, whereas Chambers was bowled by Mohammad Saad, continuing a fantastic day for him. He was gone for 4 off 7. Junaid Khan, he was the big hope at number 3 before he was controversially given out LBW by Sukhwinder Singh for 10 off 12. Not managing to hit a boundary in that innings, very unlike him. Pramal Rajani was clean bowled by Mohammad Saad, a cracking delivery, and he didn't even get started. It was a first ball golden duck. Siraj Peshwaria, he was bowled, continuing the number of clean bowls from this pair of games for the Porto side. He got 1 off 3. Raghu Rahman bowled very well today, but couldn't contribute with the bat in this game. He was done by Saeed for another golden duck. Kanak Sabapathy rescued the innings somewhat. He played well towards the end, a single boundary flicked on the leg side. He was not out, 15 off 16. Neil Charles, LBW to Amandeep Singh for 5 off 9, and young Adam Mackay coming out to the end and batting bravely to register 1 off 4 balls. Rico, take us through the bowling analysis.
Well, what can you say about this team and their bowling here tonight? It's been absolutely fantastic. Look, even the most expensive after his 2 overs was Jaswinder Kumar, who was the man in top form. Wasn't able to get a wicket this time round, but he kept it to 17 runs. Mohammad Saad, I think he was brilliant. I gave him a little bit stick, didn't I? I said the first time in that first match, he was hot and cold. He was sometimes trying, sometimes maybe not, maybe experimenting too much, but this time there was no experimenting. He was bang on target. 2 wickets, 10 runs only conceded from him. Then Amandeep Singh, he was good, 2 overs, just 6 runs. And 1 wicket for him. Sukhwinder Singh, the captain, he always has to be in there somewhere. He got a wicket and only went for 11 off his 2. But, well, the bowler this time, Saeed Ali Nakhi, wasn't he good? 2 overs, runs 5, wickets 3. So another bowler getting 3 wickets. A professional performance here from Indian Royals today. We're very, very pleased the way that they've come out, and they've demonstrated just what you can do, that when you're down, you're in the dumps, things aren't going your way. Well, just to go back, having a nice glass of maybe Portuguese wine, having a few of those very rich in protein pastéis de nata, maybe having some of that tasty lamb that's cooked in the wine and the herbs as well. Get a good meal behind you, get a good night's sleep, and then come back strong. That's what they've done here, and that's what Porto have got to do. Because, listen, remember the players that we're going to be up against tomorrow. You got Andani, what a player he is. I know that you like Andani very much. Then, of course, don't forget Imran Khan. He is special as well. And then you also got the likes of the bowlers like Niku there as well, bowl really well. Chipol Mata. It is not going to be easy. They're going to have to be at the best.
They're going to have to be at the best and then some. That is a cracking lineup that the Gurkha 11 will put out tonight. It will be a ripper of a pair of contests. I will absolutely guarantee that the Porto boys will be in a much better form tomorrow night than they've showed us today. They're a gutsy team, and you can guarantee that the Brains Trust will be working feverishly to try to come up with a plan to topple the Gurkha 11 last night, and they will have had the opportunity to watch them on our tremendous coverage of this Portugal T10 tournament, watching through the European Cricket Network on YouTube and FanCode throughout the subcontinent.
Yeah, you talk about working when it's been an absolute pleasure once more to be working with you. And just, I love it. I love what the two of us, I think, bring to the show. And I know that a lot of the viewers have been commenting on that as well. We love all the comments you make. But we're going to make our way now, and like we do every night, and say thank you to all the boys and girls here that make this such a fantastic venue. We've got to first of all say once a big thank you to the production team. They do a great job out there giving you all the information there that comes on their screens, putting it up there for you, getting it in the right order, but most importantly, bringing the cricket, bringing you all the action. Mate, Darko and Daniel, well done to everyone, and the ground staff. Again, it's not been an easy day today with that rain, thunderous rain there was early on. So the likes of Peter Robinson, Conrad, Bruno, Mr. Diesel himself, and Paolo Butzimassa have been doing a wonderful job around the ground. And also a big thank you to the European Cricket Network team, as well as myself and Andrew. That's Max By and Mars as well. Been doing a wonderful job, and we have to say a very big thank you as well to the likes of Mick, who's been there in the clubhouse. No doubt we're going to go there now and get something warm inside us. And also it's going to be Kirsty today. Kirsty's doing the cooking, and I've been told that she's going to look after us very well with some lovely delights, so we're looking forward to that. Thank you everybody for being here with us tonight for another 2 exceptional games of cricket, and well done today. The Indian Royals, they've come up fighting, and they've showed us the best of what they've got, Leanne.
Absolute regal performance from the Indian Royals today. They have been superb. Rico, you have been superb as always, and I echo all the congratulations to our crew and production team and all of the folks here within Portugal Cricket who are making this Portugal T10 tournament in Miranda de Corvo possible. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here during the course of this first week, and don't forget we are with you every single night at the same time from Coimbra for the Portugal T10 tournament on the European Cricket Network. It's been a pleasure, Rico. Come and join us tomorrow for more fantastic T10 action under lights at Miranda de Corvo. On behalf of Rico Full, I am Andrew Ryan, and we look forward to having your company then. Good night.